Hey guys. So I am live. It's 6:30 almost. Today was such a long day. Such a long day. Not to mention it's freezing cold here again. Like I can't even explain to you what has been happening. It's pretty crazy. It's like I swear the universe is testing me. Hi NFJ. So I I got a little curious about my old Chasing Indy channel. And I was wondering like how it was possible for 500 videos, 500 plus videos to just go unaccounted for. So I went to my old inbox, right, for my old Chasing Indy channel. And I was rereading and looking at the whole conversation correspondence with myself and the YouTube agent. So what's really annoying about YouTube is they do not have a call center or anyone that you could speak to that's human. It's always like online chat or something. It's something weird, or through email. And it takes them forever to get back to you. Like I'm talking 24, 36 hours. So I was going through the old correspondence and I noticed something. The reason why I was having trouble even recovering my Chasing Indy channel is because when my channel got relocated to a branding channel, right? It went from a regular creators channel to a branding channel. I don't know what I did. I don't know what I did, but I was trying to show that I was the owner of that channel. And when I said, oh, my Candy United funding one was the email linked to it, they're telling me, nope, that's not it. That's not the email that's linked to it. So we can't help you recover this because you can't prove that you are the owner. And I'm just sitting here thinking, I'm like, what other email could have been used when it got changed from a YouTuber creator account to a branding channel? So I think there's still a slight chance my channel actually exists. I'm having trouble proving it, I'm the owner of it and recovering it. So it's not deleted. I don't think it's actually deleted. I think it is moved somewhere and I can't prove I own it. So I'm really hoping, like I'm hoping above, like I'm hoping beyond hope that my channel does exist. Because I remember right before all this happened, I put everything on private. I was like, I'm not dealing with this crap. Everything's on private. And when I thought I had this emotional moment where I deleted something, I didn't. I moved it from my regular YouTuber creator account to a branding channel. I just don't know how I moved it. I don't know what I did. Like clearly someone should have just given me a chocolate bar and we could have avoided this whole mess. So I need to wait for YouTube to respond, which is going to be like probably not till next week, but I'm going to see if I could get a hold of someone to help me walk me through this, because there's another way I could prove I'm the owner of the channel through my AdSense account. And so I was just notified that my AdSense account was deactivated because it's been inactive for 6 months. And I'm like, yeah, of course it's been inactive for 6 months. I've been trying to prove that I own it and I haven't been able to recover it. So I'm really hoping that I will be able to do like some miracles going to occur and I could recover it. Because I mean, the other night when I was in Discord and Alan Kelly was like, yeah, thanks, by the way, for deleting my DB Cooper interview. I was like, I didn't even intentionally mean to do that. Like, I really did not intentionally mean to, delete all that stuff. And I don't think it's deleted. I also know I may have backed up a good portion of those videos from on my laptop. The only issue is that when I was digging into that auction website rabbit hole, when I uncovered who the LLC was, something happened to my computer where since that day I have not been able to turn it back on my laptop. So I need to take it to a friend and see if he could fix it. And if he could fix it, I might be able to go into the hard drive and recover the videos that I thought I saved on there. So I remember I did download a good amount of my videos a good amount of them. So I know a lot of it was my research and stuff. It was like my research videos. It was the Fenn's 90th birthday bash party. A few others. It was the really good ones. I know I backed them up. I just don't know where they're backed up. It's the most frustrating thing ever to like start. Like I started my original channel back in January of 2020. And I had so much fun when I first started it, and I worked so hard on it. And I grew my channel to 1,000 subscribers in only a couple of months. Like, I don't know about you, but that's pretty darn impressive. And I did not use any pay to clicks or anything like that. I've never done that. And so I was just so proud of the fact that I grew my channel to more than 1,000 subscribers in only a couple of months. Because the chest was allegedly found in June of that same year. So if I started in January and it was found in June, I believe that means I hit 1,000 subscribers like before June. Because I remember like right before the find announcement, I already was monetized and everything. So I'm just trying to find a way to recover it. So many reasons to recover it. But yeah, you guys, today it was such a hard day. I'm not kidding. It really seems like the universe is testing me beyond belief right now. Like, I'm honestly considering moving to Arizona by November just because of like inflation in the economy right now. It's pretty crazy. And then, so get this, you know how I was working so hard the last couple of weeks to hit the quota so I could make my bonus? Well, I did it. I hit my quota, I made my bonus and everything. Well, today I'm told I'm not getting my bonus, and half of the people, well, not half, but like I hired 24, and out of those 24, 11 fell off. And so they're like, oh, 11 fell off, so you're not getting your bonus. Well, that would have been fine, except for the fact that I found out it was not on my end why they fell off. So clearly I just have to still agree to it and just go with the flow. But I'm kind of really annoyed at the fact that I did not get my bonus when I worked so hard. So I'm not even gonna go on a tangent about that right now. I really wanted to go live and talk about like the other information I've been finding in TTOTC. And there's even more information in TTOTC that I believe is narrowing down and confirming not only the boots on the ground search location, but just confirming the solution itself for you. So the other day, I think we were in Discord, we were like in the speakeasy talking or whatever. And let me make sure you could still hear me. Can you guys still hear me? Shoot. I don't know if my volume is getting screwed with or what. I'm not kidding. Today has not been my day at all. Where's Street and Trusted? I need them. They're fun to hang out with. Although it's funny because when I try to talk about stuff like this, Street's like, no, what if land isn't an issue? And I'm like, right now, land is an issue, Street. Just go with it. It'll lead you to the stars eventually. Just right now, let's just stick with the land. Especially because I keep looking into the book and I keep finding even more verifications. I'm training a new employee tonight. Oh, that's gotta be fun. Good luck with that, JK. I hear you. Yeah. My head hurts so much right now too. I'm wondering if I should like make food. I'm just like so burnt out. I mean, if I wait a little bit, I should be getting paid tonight. And then I could just be lazy and order like DoorDash like I always do, because that is my solution for everything. But I'm actually gonna attempt to be like not a homebody. Regardless, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna definitely drink tomorrow. I won't drink right now. Like that's the type of day I've had. But I think I'm gonna save it for tomorrow. And I don't want to drink a Shiloh 48K martini. Like, I'm not kidding. They suck. Like, well, they don't suck. but they're like stronger than rubbing alcohol. Like, come on. Shiloh gave me a recipe of 6 parts gin and 1 part vermouth. Like, that is insane. I almost feel like he's fucking with me. Like, who willingly drinks that? Oh my god, I can't. I can't. I wanted to have like a speakeasy. Like last night we had a speakeasy, but I wasn't really a fan of the speakeasy. It's kind of weird. Seemed like everyone was just acting like really weird last night. Oh, I did find something interesting though. So when I was in the speakeasy last night, I heard Christy talking about how they were stating that Wally Eagle's tackle shop, you know, in West Yellowstone, she's stating that the people who work there or own that whatever somewhere someone who's in association with Wally Eagle's tackle shop claimed that there was a big ass trout fish that used to be hung up and mounted on the wall that was named like Big Brown or something, right? Mr. Brown or Big Brown. And she was trying to find evidence that proved that, or that there was a picture or something. Like she was like, documentarians will pay gold for this. And so me being the weirdo that I am, I'm just like nonchalantly going online researching stuff. And I found Mr. Brown. I don't think he's the home of Brown per se, at least not just yet. But I did find what she was talking about. The only problem is it's in association with Bud Lilly and then Sam Eagle. And it wasn't 9 Mile Hole where this fish was mounted for Sam Eagle's tackle shop. It wasn't found or caught at 9 Mile. It was actually caught at Wade Lake. And that's actually Hebgen, if I'm not mistaken. Wade Lake. So here, I'll share the article I found for you guys so you guys can see it. And I'm not doing this to be like, 9 Mile Hole. Not at all. I'm actually like gravitating towards 9 Mile Hole, but in a different retrospect, I guess you could say. So I was down the rabbit hole a little bit and I found some interesting details. So right here, it shows that there's a photo of a record 29-pound brown trout from Wade Lake that was displayed at Bud Lilly's trout shop in 1966. The Big Brown is the only photo of a dead fish, which isn't surprising. Bud Lilly pioneered catch and release in Western waters, creating the first catch and release fishing club in 1961. So, I mean, there's a possibility that Bud and Sam Eagle, like there's Bud Lilly and then Sam Eagle, right? There's a possibility that Sam Eagle also did something like that. Maybe he did catch a 29-pound brown trout that they named Mr. Brown from 9 Mile. It just, can you see the pattern? Like there's Bud Lilly's tackle shop, and then there's Sam Eagle's tackle shop, and then you've got the Fenns that never, I guess, opened a tackle shop per se, but they like worked as like tour guides and stuff. And then I found something else really cool. Check this out. Do you remember how Forrest went from Miss Mary to Grandma in the story about the pies? Remember Miss Mary and everything? I found her. I found who she really is. So Bud Lilly, his great 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 grandmother, Mary Granny Yates, was the actual inspiration for that character in the book. Mary Granny Yates. So that's why it went from Miss Mary to Granny or Grandma, right? And I'm like, okay, this is interesting. And the way I found this is because I found information in the book itself. Like, I'm telling you guys, I think I found, it's not really a code, but I found a way to use the poem as a ledger to line up with the chapters in the book. Because, like, remember how Forrest said you had to figure out the order the book went? Because the chapters are out of order. So he's like, first you got to figure out the order which it goes. And then you need to marry the poem to the book. Like he said 2 things. He said marry the poem to the book. And then he said marry the poem to a map, right? So I'm under the impression that the poem does 2 things. First, it's a ledger. And a ledger is what you need to read a map, right? And the book itself, like the drawings and the chapters themselves, are the map. And so by using the poem, especially the clues in the poem, as a ledger, it can help you figure out which chapters align with which clue. And once you can figure that out, it gives you specific information that you're going to need to verify you have the right solution. I mean, again, when I was talking about Flywater chapter in association with Begin at Where Women Halt, it gives you so much information. It's kind of freaking me out. So not only did it tell you about, the gibbon and the fire hole coming together to create the Madison, it tells you about the fork in the road. Like, why would he randomly say that? Like whenever Peggy and I come to a fork in the road, we take it together, if you know what I mean. Like that stands out as an aberration to me and screams, okay, well, the Madison and the fire hole, or the gibbon and the fire hole, or the warm waters, they come together to create a fork in the road, right? And you got to take it together, which creates the Madison. And it's just chilling right there in the corner. It shows Madison River, like plain as day, right next to the postmark. So then you're reading more, and he talks about being under a tree where he wrote his letter to Peggy. He talks about how it's June, July, August. So he's giving you specific times of the month, right? For when he would be there. And then it talks about how, like in the book itself, remember how he says like, oh, he was so upset about the do not touch. So he decided like do touch. Well, right at Madison Junction, everyone knows this. There is like a little mini museum right at Madison Junction that says exactly that. Do touch, do this. And so I feel like these little details that have been provided for us in the book, those are the details that are confirming we're on the right track. So the do touch, that gives you the little museum at Madison Junction. He wants you to be at Madison Junction. He wants you to explore and immerse yourself in these little details. And he talks about how, oh, yes, I like to embellish just a little bit. He's doing that so that it's not blatantly obvious. This information he's providing is going to verify what you're in the right location. But the moment you can differentiate the certain details that he gave you in the embellished stories, it'll be a confirmer for where you're going. And trust me, this is probably going to piss Barbara off beyond belief, because she's like, you got to figure out the embellishments. Well, I'm not figuring out the embellishments. I'm good on that. What I'm doing is I'm finding the information that helps to verify what's happening. So yeah, it's probably going to piss her off, but I really don't care at this point. She's like minuscule to me at this point. So yeah, it talks about do touch. So we got the MJ museum, which I've looked into so many times I can't even explain it, and I've always known that it had do touch at the museum. And then you have what else was it? There's so many things. And I've been working so hard this week. It's insane. So the moment I get off work, I'm just like, what do I have time for? I want to have time for Netflix. There's like part 2 of You, but I gotta wait until like tomorrow. Like you won't even see me tomorrow. I'll be like binging the heck out of that final season. Thank you. Or it's not the final season, but it's the final season of part 2 right now. So I really want to binge the crap out of that. But like, you guys, there's so much shit I'm finding. Like, how do you explain? I found Mary Granny, Miss Mary, Grandma. Like, she's right there, and it's all associated with Bud Lilly. And I'm not kidding. When I was reading this article last night about Bud Lilly, the way they describe everything sounds just like Marvin and Forrest Fenn. And it's just like, sometimes I wonder, was Forrest, like, were the Fenns made up? Is it possible? Is there a real other last name for them? Because some of the stuff is just like screams Marvin and Forrest Fenn. And yet there's like barely any paper trail. Like there's Fennhaven, barely, like you barely find that. There's some information on, them as kids, barely. I've just never seen such a limited paper trail on someone before. It's kind of crazy. Let me see. Oh, I got people. What's up, Kiwi? Ooh, that's because the book is a map. Oh my gosh, why do I have to explain this sometimes? Hey, Rob. Giddy up. It's so cold here, you guys. I think I'm getting sick again just because it's so cold. I need to turn on the heater again. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. I'm definitely gonna entertain moving in November. It just woosah. Okay, so there's even more stuff. Like, I haven't had time, but I really do want to grab the book again and just identify what pops out to me. And I mean, come on. So he talks about the fishing holes, his favorite fishing holes in Flywater, talks about the months of June, July, and August. He talks about sitting under a tree. And if you're going to follow, like, whether you believe in I'm a hole or not, I still find it fascinating that they're claiming the solution really was I'm a hole and the chest was found underneath the tree. It just gives you all this information that kind of like paints a bigger picture to say, yeah, you're in the right spot. And so I haven't even looked at gypsy magic. I kind of probably should, to try and see what I could get from that. Because I feel like each chapter just has specific type of information that verifies you're in the right spot. And I feel like Ben's gonna go crazy, especially because of, like, you know, the oh my god, when he jumped down the pole, the escape pole, and then it was like a rusty brown mark. He's gonna be like, it's Mount Haynes, it's Mount Haynes. There's like so much. And so I really want to just go over that type of information. So okay, we're gonna go on a little adventure real fast. Hopefully this thing doesn't die. Okay, we're good. We're gonna go on an adventure upstairs. Firstly, so I can put this cup in the sink so I don't turn into a freaking hermit all the time. And then I'm going to turn on the heater. I'm gonna get a snack to try and tie myself over to wait for my funds to come through so I could just be lazy and get DoorDash. I'm really not in the mood to like make dinner right now. And then once I did that, we're gonna go down the chapters of TTOTC, because I've just been feeling like doing that lately. Like, that's my happy place. And I mean, I'm telling you guys, I am finding some like serious verification that like fills in the blanks and stuff. Like, what if it was always like that? What if it was that? I'm so out of it right now. Okay, hold on. Gonna put my cup in the sink. I'll wash it in a little bit. What if it really was that simple? Like, what if we weren't supposed to instantly know the answer to warm water's halt? What if we were supposed to, it's 69 degrees in here and I'm still freezing? How is this humanly possible? Hold, please. Okay, I'm so tired of this alarm. I could scream. Okay, I hope this turns on because I am so cold right now. It is insane. Okay. I think I'm gonna make some chamomile tea, maybe. Oh, it's cold right here in the fridge. Make it stop. Yeah, so I think there was some serious verification in the book itself. Like, remember how Fenn kept saying, like, you need the book, and everyone's like, but you said you just need the poem. Well, he actually corrected himself and was like, oh, you need the poem because it's in the book. So he's like super adamant about you needing the book. And I'm just like, okay, I'm trying this. I think I'm gonna make some hot cocoa. Maybe that'll make me stop being so whiny. I'll just use my same mug. Oh, it's cold. Yes. Let's see if I can put this in the microwave. Microwave, dishwasher, safe. Yay. I'm going to fill this up with milk and Hershey's chocolate syrup. I'm going to put some marshmallows. Yeah, that should make me a little happier. Who could be an angry bitch with marshmallows and hot cocoa, right? Let me see. Giddy up is losing its oomph. Giddy up. Close the fridge door. Yeah, I know. I know how to close the fridge door. Okay, I'm making some hot cocoa. That is what I'm gonna do. Yeah, so pretty much what we're gonna do, because I'm a really weird person and my brain is so unexplainable. Like my coworker always tells me, she's like, Candy, you're meant for a reality TV show. I'm like, no, I don't want to. She's like, seriously, your personality is geared for like a reality show. And I'm like, yeah, I get that, but I can't handle, that type of criticism from society. Like I can barely handle it here. So it's part of the reason why I continuously just keep turning down opportunities. I had so many opportunities before, but I always turn them down because I just can't handle it. So looking at the chapters, looking at the book, there's just so much information. Like, okay, remember how I said it seems like Fenn, and I don't want to piss people off when I say this, but it's just reading between the lines. Everything in that book was explaining what was happening. Remember how Forrest said Eric Sloan died 2 weeks to the day after he turned 80? And then he talks about how he wished he was smart to lie about his age or whatever, embellish his age. And then he talked about how he would write a book and title it 90. Because like Eric Sloan wrote a book titled it 80. And then he celebrated his birthday, right? And he said exactly 2 weeks after his birthday, his 80th birthday, he died. And so Fenn was like, I wish I was smart like that. I would write a book, title it 80 or 90. So isn't it so a little questionable, right? That Forrest decides to have the Fenn finale exactly 2 weeks after his birthday is when he passed away, after his 90th birthday. So remember, I hosted Forrest's 90th birthday bash. It was awesome. I had everyone on. He was watching. Shiloh was watching. There's so many people in the chat. Everyone was hanging out, sharing such amazing stories, everything like that, right? And exactly 2 weeks to the day of his birthday, he passed away. So a small piece of me wants to say, yeah, I totally think Shiloh's book he's writing is part his grandfather's and then part whatever he's trying to do for, I don't know, to expand the legacy. But I think it's going to be titled 90. I'm not kidding. I feel like this book is the blueprint on everything that's going to be going down. Everything. And I feel like maybe if I read into it more, is it going to show the bad ending too? Or whatever this is, the purgatory? Because I'm starting to think everything was planned out. I'm starting to think everything was a literal blueprint design. And even the worst of it, Jack, everything, I feel like is premeditated. I keep finding so much evidence. It's premeditated. Like, think about this. The stamp, the postmark for the chapter Goldenmore, right? June 5th. It doesn't show the date, but it shows June 5th. And it just so happens that Jack found the chest on June 5th. Or what about the fact that Forrest mentions Calvary? It's literally written in the book. The chapter, Dancing with Millennium. Calvary's right there. How do you explain that? Or how about the fact that, let me see, I'm trying to remember certain things. It's been a while. Like, it's been 6 months since I really looked at the book again. It's been a really long time. But now that I look at it, and then it's been almost 3 years, right? Since all this transpired. You know how he always talks about fakes? And I know we talk about it, like Galaxy brings it up all the time. So does Alan Kelly. A lot of really smart people in the community talk about it. Ben, everyone. So he's like adamant to tell us about fakes. Like, why is this not as, important when you believed it was the original and you wanted it, and you praised it, but then you find out it's not, it's a fake. It's suddenly not, you no longer desire it. So don't you find it weird how he talks about that just randomly in the book? Like, there's a fake, and then there's more stuff. Like, I'm not kidding. What if Shiloh's comment to me about more, oh shit, I think I had way too much chocolate syrup as I was talking. That's gonna be great. What if Shiloh's comment to me about more epicness to come is because there really is another chest out there? What if it's the real one? What if this was just like a trial to see how we would react? Because remember, his original game plan was for us to look for it when he was gone. Yet, for 10 years, this treasure hunt creator he went out of his way to communicate with us. He went out of his way to communicate with us. Have you ever really had a treasure hunt creator do something like that with people trying to solve their puzzle? You can like barely anyone has ever done that except for Forrest. And so many times it's almost like he contradicts himself with like comments or information. 15 years versus 10 years. It seems contradictory to the point maybe it's not contradicting itself. We just don't understand there's more to it. Like when he says it was 15 years from him writing the poem to hiding the chest, is it possible he went out there and hid one in 2003 and then another one in 2010? Because I'm not kidding you guys. Like, there's so much evidence in this book right now that foreshadows more than one chest. And I'm not talking about, oh, there's just two chests, right? There's more than enough evidence that foreshadows there's another game afoot. And it wasn't going to be started until his passing. And I know this is like really controversial to say, but I really do think Fenn did exactly what he wanted to do. Like, I don't want to upset people. And I know saying suicide is like a really, really sensitive topic, but think about it. His original plan, his original blueprint was to go out just like his father did and then dare us to go rob his grave. And then he talks about how he's so disappointed. He's like, I had it all figured out. I was going to go to Preston to write my story. He writes the codex and everything. And then he's going to go out with a bunch of sleeping pills, just like his dad, pick a spot, right? Die under a tree. And he's like, but then I got better. I ruined the plan and got better. Have you ever heard someone be like, gosh darn it, I didn't die after all? Like, what? So it's like, it was like a trial run or something. Like, what if this was just a trial run for something bigger, something like, I'm not kidding, this book is like a blueprint to everything that's been transpiring. Like, you know the story about the old biddies? Look around, you guys. For the past 2, almost 3 years, we've all been acting like old biddies. We've been gossiping. We've been an absolute shit show, if you think about it. All of us, not just the YouTubers. I'm talking about all of us in the community. We've all just gone completely derailed off of, we're unhinged to an extent. And so if you think about it, when the grandson, Shiloh, Forrest Fenn's grandson, is like, more epicness to come. And he says, I can't wait for the drama to be over and more fun to begin. Think about that. What is happening? And he says, like, no offense, Candy, like, all due respect, I know more than you. And I'm like, yeah, I know. But okay, think about how Dale was originally going to write another story for Forrest. And then that's the reason why Dale was able to get Rumblings and Ramblings 2.0, if that really exists, right? And so all of a sudden something happens where Dale's no longer going to be writing that other story for Forrest. Who's doing it? Shiloh. And Shiloh also has Rumblings and Ramblings 2.0. So I'm just trying to figure out, is there really a method to my madness right now? Because the details I'm finding, they're actually checking out. They're actually checking out. He tells you grandma, but in the original writings he did on Daily Bozeman Chronicle, she was called Miss Mary. Just so happens Bud Lily's great 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 grandmother was Mary Granny. They called her Granny. There's got to be something in there. So what do we know about Bud Lily? What if it's pertaining to both of them? So what if one of his favorite fishing holes, let's say 9 Mile Hole, is pertaining to Wally Eagle, right? And we know that's 9 Mile Hole. But then Bud Lily, which would also explain too, sorry, I'm trying to explain to you while my brain is like processing these ideas. It also explains that comment from Flywater that I never understood. Okay, so the original article written from Daily Bozeman Chronicle, it's called Memories of the Past Enrich Our Present. The original article said those great places on the fire hole, which were personal secrets to me then. And then it goes on to talk about the wonderful color plates under the tutelage of my father, Southwest Montana. And I was always like, that doesn't make any sense. How can he say the fire hole, but then he says Southwest Montana? Like, that's geographically incorrect. And I'm terrible at geography. And I can even tell you, like, that's not accurate. There's no possible way the fire hole is ever in any location for the Southwest Montana. That's Hebgen. Southwest Montana is Hebgen. And he tells you point blank the fire hole. And so when you read the chapter Flywater in TTOTC, he completely took out Firehole. He says, those great places, which were personal secrets to me then, right? Then the stamp corner, he puts the Madison. And he even tells you in the story later, he's on the Madison River. I remember I emailed him when I was in Hebgen. I was camping and I was in Hebgen. And I was like, I never understood why you took out Firehole and added the Madison for your chapter Flywater, because everyone knows that you're explaining like that should be your final spot where you want to, rest. And he wrote back, he's like, you know what, Candy? I can't remember. Like, he does stuff like that. But now I'm starting to think there was a reason why. Like, if he told you, if he showed you he was talking about the fire hole and then Southwest Montana, it would totally contradict itself. Because again, there's no way the fire hole could be in Southwest Montana. But what he does instead is tells you Madison. And technically, saying the Madison qualifies for both. It qualifies for the fire hole and Southwest Montana. So my brain is sitting here thinking, what if Bud Lily is Montana and Sam Eagle is 9 Mile Hole? Why else would he say, I'll have fun watching you guys, like, I'm paraphrasing this one, right? But why would he say, having fun watching you look for the treasure while I'm alive, and then again, maybe after I'm dead? Sounds like double two. Hey, Pam, think about this. Shiloh is not writing a book for us. He's doing it to honor his grandfather's wishes. Exactly, Pam. Exactly. I mean, he does add in that he is going to be writing part of the old family history as well, which is really cool. And I think that's in part just to help keep the tradition alive, right? Because I mean, Forrest was always like super adamant about writing your history and submitting it over to the what's that place called? I forgot the name of it right now. I'm so tired. But yeah, no, I agree. And then let me look up, maybe Forrest wanted to get our attention and use the treasure chest as the lure. He was brilliant. Yeah, I agree with that too, Pam. And I mean, I'm not trying to force you. I'm not forcing you. I'm just saying I wish you would be able to shed a little bit more light on the context of the email you received that was allegedly meant for Shiloh. I'm not saying like reveal any personal information, don't reveal names, but would you be able to shed more light in regards to the context of that email? I know you stated that you believe the Medium article that was released under quote unquote the Finder could have been written by Forrest. And I definitely can see that, especially the part about Eric Sloan. And especially the new stanza. I think that's part 2. I think that's Montana. And I find it interesting that Dale wanted us to know that Forrest wrote another stanza to verify the validity of the chest find. And yet Jack is like, no, there was no stanza. And everyone's like, well, it could be in the olive jar. Okay. But still, there's something missing. Not to mention the find photos. Half of that treasure is missing. Half of it. And we know there's another chest that exists. So I'm just saying this darn freaking book, it looks like a premeditated blueprint to explain all the shenanigans that have been transpiring over these years. And yes, I said shenanigans, and I know that's Christy's word, but that is the only thing I could think to describe this. Like, what else can my weird little brain connect and find just by going over this book? Because before I was going over this book going like, what makes sense? Where do warm waters halt? I need an answer to this. And instead of looking at the bigger picture like he continuously tells us to do, I was just trying to like reverse engineer, like, I don't know, just make it easier, right? But it's like there's so much information that tells you more than what we ever understood. Under a tree, June, July, August. I mean, is it even possible there's more than 2? Is it possible there's 3? Like, what is going on? Could August be in relation to New Mexico, July be Montana, and then obviously June 5th be Wyoming? No, I did not admit it's a mock game, Shy Guy. God, creep me the freak out. No, what I'm saying is that it's all been premeditated and there's more to come from my point of view. Ugh, creep me out. So yeah, like, I feel like there's so much more to it. Here, let me put a link in chat for like Street and Ben and all them if they want to come in, because I need some people to like bounce off what I'm saying or maybe question what I'm saying. I mean, I have no way to validate any of this. It's just my research and what I've been perceiving or how I am interpreting everything that I've been finding lately. So hold on. The invite link. Here we go. Paste. Pin message. I will be happy to share my opinion another time, but it's just my opinion. Okay, so yeah, no, I understand that and I respect that, Pam. I'm just thinking, I think the Medium article is round 2. I do. And what if Shiloh's the one who's like writing that article? Or not all of it, but part of it. I don't know. There's just something happening that I feel like has just completely just gone over our heads. I wish I wish that my assumption could be right, that there's 3 chests. So like Wyoming's off the table, and then the only ones that are left are like Montana and New Mexico. Because I mean, think about it. If there's New Mexico, Barbara could go back to her little, pissant mentality, claim New Mexico, and move on with her life. We could all move on from Barbara. Just please, someone up there, please tell me there's 2 more chests. So she could just leave her Montana chest alone and she could just have a New Mexico chest. Like, I would be so all for that. We can set up a time. I work so much, but I could try tomorrow, maybe, Pam. Because I know Street goes live Saturdays. So let me see. I don't know if Street's trying to join in and it's taking him an eternity because he's in the middle of nowhere. But I'm upstairs right now because it's freezing and I'm drinking my hot cocoa. Colorado still gets no love in 2023. And so the reason why Colorado's not getting any love, Ben, is because there's no stamp for Colorado. Like, think about it. You have somewhere in Wyoming, somewhere in Montana, and then you have somewhere north of Santa Fe. Those are the stamps that say somewhere. And I don't even know if New Mexico even counts. I'm more so just Montana and Wyoming. Just because of stamps. Like, it never made sense to me why he would say somewhere in Wyoming, somewhere in Montana. And then he goes to say, we've decided, or we agreed to say that it was found in Wyoming. It leaves it open for another possibility. And then he even talked about in his post with Dale, more discoveries or something. I feel like he wouldn't just leave it as one treasure. He even said if he had another chest, he would hide it or something. Remember about the Appalachians or something? Exactly why it's Colorado. No, Ben, I know you're un compadre solve. I fucked around with that for a while myself. Like, trust me, I know all about that damn waterfall, the frozen waterfall. I know all about Ore, Colorado. I know the Uncompahgre River. Like, I know all that stuff. I went deep down that rabbit hole. It was a good spot for a while too. And I mean, who knows? Maybe there really is Colorado. So if you want to claim Colorado, go for it. I'm claiming Montana with Gigi and Marty. Which, it makes me question too. So like, whoever Jack Stoof is, because we have this database, right, of the Condor 2 Reddit database. And it shows in that database that he was not only searching Wyoming, but he was searching Montana. And I'm like wondering, is it possible this entire time there really was like another chest to find and like it took me too long to piece it together? And like maybe Matt really did beat us to the punch? If it was a metaphor. If what was a metaphor? Yeah. Oh, the chest? Oh, look at Ben shamelessly plugging in his hunt. Moisturize is saying, Treasure Warriors, where do I find the fly poem? Which, by the way, Benjamin, I messaged Shiloh this morning, and this is what I told him. Because I feel like, oh no. Sorry, Tish. I'll reply to you in a little bit. So I sent this to Shiloh today. I'm like, men are absolutely diabolical. Ben wants me to work on his poem so badly. He actually used the quote unquote candy. If you solve my poem and claim the flies, Shiloh will be so impressed by you. And I am like, when I tell you I about fell out of my chair, I was laughing so hard. I'm not kidding. I pretty much did fall out of my chair and my butt, it's kind of sore because I have hard floors. So I was like, Shiloh, will you be so impressed if I find the flies? And don't even get me started on what happened last night. I think it was like after, was I live last night? I don't think I was live last night. I was live the night before because last night it was speakeasy. So while we're in the speakeasy, just hanging out, I'm talking to Ben about, deleting one of the messages I sent him. Cause I was just like, dude, I'm sitting here listening to Ben and Jeremy like fucking heckle each other over some stupid paper picture. Like the chest, it looks like it's either a document or a plastic bag. Like they were just yelling at each other, trying to prove the other one's right. Right. And I'm like thinking to myself, my God, nobody cares. Like, why are you telling me this? And then I'm like, shit, that's probably exactly how Shiloh feels when I sent him that damn message about me decoding how to like read TTOTC. Like, he doesn't care. So I went back and I deleted the message, right? And Ben was always like, Candy, you can't delete messages. Don't unsend messages in Facebook chat because it's like super sketchy. And I always told him like, Ben, you're being dramatic. Shut up. It's not that bad. So while I'm in Discord hanging out with everyone, I go back to my messages with Shiloh and I unsend the message. And when I tell you, not even seconds go by and I'm already getting bubbles from Shiloh. And he's like, why are you always unsending messages? It's sketchy. I'm just like, fuck. I was laughing so hard. I can't even explain it. And then the funniest part is Ben, obviously I'm telling Ben this, he's cracking up so hard. This little shit, has the audacity to also reach out to Shiloh on Facebook. I mean, come on, that was my original idea, buddy. And he messages Shiloh, Candy is so sketchy deleting or unsending her messages. And then Shiloh replied back, the sketch, meaning very sketch. And then he just hashtag International Women's Day. Or like, I can't even with that. Like, let me show you. Let me actually show you this message that existed in this world because of Benjamin. And when I tell you, I am going to make it my life's mission to humble this man. It's going to happen. Ashley, you're going to help me. So see this? See? Hey, Shiloh, it's Ben. Yes, Candy is so sketch with her unsent messages. Be sketch. Hashtag International Women's Day. Oh my God. And when I tell you, I was like, oh my God, no, I'm not sketchy at all. I was just second guessing what I sent. And I'm like, I'm a girl. Girls are very emotional and we second guess everything. And I'm like, I honestly thought that you were in the middle of the jungle and you wouldn't even notice that I did it. And he's like, I am actually in the middle of the jungle. But he has a data plan. It's just like, only my freaking luck, the luck of Charlie Brown. Can you imagine? Can you imagine this? Shiloh is in the middle of the jungle and he still has a data plan. And my freaking message is like, boop, Candy unsent a message. Hold on. Hey, Street.
What's happening?
Oh, I'm just sharing at the fact that Ben is now my mortal enemy. What are you up to?
Oh, not much. What's going on in your world?
Work kicked my ass so much today. I about screamed. Can't share everything because there's people that don't have a life and they report everything. But I have been finding even more interesting details that confirm other things from the chase, and it's starting to freak me out a little bit. So I'm debating on if I should grab my book right now and come back upstairs because it's warmer upstairs. I have my hot cocoa next to me, and if we should like pour over the chapters because I'm starting to think it's not my imagination. It's actually like the what's the, I can't think of the word right now. It's not affidavit because I've been dealing with Barbara way too fucking much this week. Manifesto. It's like his manifesto. TTOTC seems like Forrest Fenn's manifesto.
Well, look at who raised him. An educator and public education system. when you publicly look up a lifelong educator such as Forrest's father, the only thing you find is where he's buried. That indicates the people that he touched, the general public's not aware of it.
Well, well, look at this. He talks about the assassination of Kennedy, right? Ow, hold on. Oh, God. Or wait, no, it wasn't the assassination of Kennedy. I've been listening to Davio too much. The assassination of Lincoln, right? Booth. John Wilkes Booth. He brings up Booth. Let me grabbing my book real fast. Jeez, I need to find my other slipper. I don't know where I put it. My feet are cold and I only have one slipper at the moment, so I can't hobble around with one slipper. Okay, going back upstairs where my hot cocoa is waiting for me. Although I forgot to add my marshmallows, I am fired. Okay. These steps are pretty friggin' steep. Jeez. Okay, hold on. Okay. Getting back to we're going back to the beginning, kids. We're gonna see what we can actually find because there's just too much that's like it's like a manifesto. I'm not kidding. And then the freaking life is a game of poker. Happiness is the pot. Fate deals you 4 cards and a joker. And you play whether you like it or not. Is Jack really the Joker? It's starting to seem like Jack really is the Joker. What if this poor man didn't even do this? It's like just all a game and like we're being dicks to him because we're under the impression that there's like fucked up shit going on behind the scenes.
Is you could consider education a treasure. Is it a material treasure? Nope, sure isn't. Has nothing to do with materialism.
I don't got time for your damn spiritualism right now. I'm trying to figure out a manifesto, sir.
Well, it has everything to do with his manifesto. Remember his embarrassment of 15 minutes worth of his bullshit talk made more, but his father took a life, 20 years to pay off their house in public education. Interesting.
Well, so check this out. We're gonna just, I'm probably gonna go on camera too because I just don't care. I look like crap. Oh, by the way, guess what happened today? So, fuck, I can't even say it. Never mind. God damn you, Barbara. Hold on. Okay, I look like absolute hell, but I really don't care at this time. Okay. So we are gonna go over the book. And we're going to identify what the fuck is going on, because there's something going on. Okay, Ben, if you want to click the link too and jump in, you are more than welcome. Okay, all of the stories that mingle among these pages are as true to history as one man can average out that truth, considering the fact that one of my natural instincts is to embellish just a little. Nevertheless, the story about my treasure chest is true. And if it doesn't stir your spirit, then I hope at least it brings a smile in one of your dreams. Okay. Fascinating. I will marinate on that one later. Okay. And please don't fret too much if some of the things I say don't appeal to you. Instead, keep in mind that the temperaments of the country was different in the 1930s, when I was a tyke and wimpy hamburgers were a nickel. And it's interesting that he died with a nickel in his pocket, a buffalo nickel. Think about that. If it will bother you to read that I shot meadowlarks so my family could have food on the table, then please don't read further. I did that more than once, and candor demands that I admit to being as proud of it today as my father was of me then, when I was 8. Interesting. Why does he have to say that? Please overlook my slight penchant for provocation and realize that all of us are environmentalists to some degree, and me more than most. My church is in the mountains and along the river bottoms where dreams and fantasies alike go to play. So everyone already knows this sentence right here translates to mean Montana and Wyoming. Because remember, Wyoming means river flat, at the river flat, and then Montana means mountain, like mountainous region or something like that. So when you translate my church is in the mountains and along the river bottoms where dreams and fantasies alike go to play, he's stating my church is in Wyoming/Montana. It's going to drive me crazy how many things I keep finding that like show this. Varied are the many roads I've traveled to reach my 80 years, and not all have been paved with smiles and accolades. If to be content has been my goal, then I've been successful my share of the time. But that's not to boast about all that happened along the way. Gaining experience wasn't always peaceful, especially during my early years of anxiety. So we really got to pay attention to when he's anxious or indecisive as a kid, I feel like. I tend to use some words that aren't in the dictionary and others that are. I bend a little. My only goal in this endeavor is to talk about a few of my life experiences, and if any readers over the age of 12 don't see a little of themselves in this mirror, then maybe they deserve another turn. This book is my 9th in 26 years of casually recounting the things I enjoy most. My books have to write themselves or I struggle. This one did. So firstly, let's just look up Joker real fast because that's like the first real things like sticking out to me right now. Why am I getting so many fucking ads right now? Joker etymology.
I think Joker means death.
Well, let's find out. Jester, merry fellow, one who jokes. Agent noun from joke is generic slang used for any man, fellow chap, which probably is the source of the meaning odd-faced card in the deck. Also often jolly joker. Games. List a card game, black joke, in which all face cards were called jokers. Let's see. Ooh, it's Latin from Iocari, to jest, to joke, from Icos, joke, sport, pastime. I wonder if there's anything else I can find on it. Why is it? It seems like that's not enough. Oh, here's something. Okay. Oh no, I don't want fucking Joker from the Batman. Leave me alone. Joker definition meaning. Bro, I want to know the symbol. I'm getting bombarded by Joker from the DC comics. I need card symbol or why Joker etymology? See Joker card origin. Let's try that. The Joker originated in the United States during the Civil War and was created as a trump card for the game of euchre. What? 4-player trump game wherein the players are paired to form 2 partnerships. Huh. Deck of 24 playing cards consisting of a king or ace, king, queen, joker. Or is that jack? Jack, 10, and 9 of each of the 4 suits. It may also be played with 25 cards by adding a joker. Ooh. I've never heard of this. Euchre? 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 It's like U or EUCHRE.
Euchre.
Yeah, it is euchre. Okay.
You only play ace down to the 10.
You know this game?
4 players. The jacks are the highest left and right bars, they're called. Then it's ace, king, queen, 10.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it shows 4 cards and then a joker. What the fuck?
Well, what did he mean by fate? Fate deals you. Do you think fate's dealing cards playing poker?
Huh?
you're looking at whatever definitions of the word Joker. Do you think fate deals cards, as in a deck of cards, and an actual Joker? Fate.
Fate's basically letting you don't really get to choose your hand. That's the point. That's the message behind it. No matter how great of a player you are, fate's never going to deal you a hand that you're going to be able to expect.
Well, if fate's dealing the cards, do you think they're actually going to deal a card that's a Joker?
Oh, yeah. Fenn introduced America by immigrants from countries of Cornwall and Devon. Why is my brain like this? Wait. Jucker and Juckerspiel in German is pronounced Euchre. Clues to possible German origin are the names the trump Jacks Bauer is phonetically identical with the German word Bauer, which normally means farmer, but also refers to the jack in playing cards. Another word probably derived from German is March, which is the literal translation of marsh. Itself an abbreviation of Dersh. Well, you know what's interesting is halt also comes from the origin of the word march. Did you know that? That's something I learned like back in 2014, I think. I'm gonna try and just walk away from this now. I don't want to do this one. So let's see. I think this is the most important one. Like, this is the most important chapter. It doesn't even have a name. It's just like the introduction, I guess you could say. Hold on. Okay, so he says right here, well, I'm almost 80, and I think that's so funny. Oh, I don't mean it's funny because I'm almost 80, but it's funny because I said it that way. I could have just said I'm 79, so I could be a year younger, but I don't care anyway. Over the years, more important things came in and out of my life, so I never much cared even then. In younger days, I didn't know where I wanted to go, but it always seemed kind of important at the time that I get there. Then all of a sudden, I started getting bald, just a little at first, so it wasn't a big deal. I remembered that the same thing happened to President Eisenhower, and he explained it was because his brains were pushing his hair out. That is such an aberration. I figured the same thing must be happening to me. So I felt all right with it, and then my hair turned gray. Okay, white. But that probably was easily solved by just telling people I was dyeing it, and then they never knew the difference. That is also just so freaking weird. It doesn't matter much to me if I get old, especially since I'm already there. Actually, the only thing about me that's old is my body. My mind stays at about 13, which is again reiterated in Flywater. To help my self-image, I take showers only at night. Only at night. Okay. So I can't see my age as much. When my wife built our house, she put a skylight in my bathroom flat above the shower. It was design deficiency, but she didn't have to stand there and see, so she didn't care. Some people can live with old age. My dear friend Eric Sloan was a painter and writer of large note. When he got to 79, like me, he said it was okay. He wrote about 50 books, and they were all clever. He always told me he was going to write one more book, title at 80, and then die. See, do you see that right there? He was funny like that. Oh, I don't mean he was funny because he said he was going to die, but funny because he had that all figured out. Do you see that? Not once, but twice, Forrest talks about death and having it pre-planned. Do you not see that?
Well, I see him alluding to the fact that Eric Sloan was not scared to die. He laughed about it and joked about it. He wasn't scared of it.
But we gotta look at this from the perspective of a manifesto. I completely understand and agree with the spiritualisms and the spiritualistic approach of it and the stars. You know, I'm like the biggest person to back that. But right now, I want to take the point of view and perspective and apply it specifically to a manifesto. Like, this is a puzzle And this information is a manifesto to foreshadow what I want planned up to my passing and after my passing, right? And so the most important thing is it seems like Eric Sloan himself had it already figured out, because he was like, I'm going to write one more book, title it 80, and then die. So he said he had it all figured out. He said that his habit of never dating his letters or paintings was not a careless oversight, but rather a deep personal superstition that ignoring time itself might be a secret technique to delay aging. He probably thought that up when he was about 15. Do you see that? He's mirroring Eric, because he says his mind stays at about age 13 and Eric's age stays at about 15.
Okay, well, what is his mental state writing this manifesto, this poem? What is his mental state? What kind of a person is he?
Well, I mean, if you take the concept of Catcher in the Rye, it seems like life goes shitty once the innocence and the ignorance of what life really is like starts to really weigh on the main character, Holden Caulfield. And he gets robbed of that childlike innocence when his brother passes away, right? So what he decides he needs to do is he needs to stand at the edge of the cliff, right? And stop all the other kids from metaphorically jumping off the cliff, because the cliff and jumping off of it is the symbolic representation of losing one's innocence. And I feel like maybe Eric and Fenn always says they want their mind to stay at about age 13 or 15, is because around that time, they still were supposed to have that childlike innocence. But they were robbed by that because of the war and these hidden agendas through politics and religion and all that. So I feel like not only does Forrest mirror Eric, but they both were robbed of a childlike. Oh, there's Ben. Ben is ready to rip me a new one, probably. Let's find out. Ben's gonna be like, Connor. Ben, are you here?
Yo, what up?
Where are you at?
I'm outside.
I like the blaze you got going.
I was gonna just listen to this whole thing, but I couldn't stay out of it. You guys are actually like doing book discussion. I love it.
Okay. Are you gonna rip apart for what I've said so far?
No, I'm gonna throw in the arguments for DB Cooper. I mean, that's what I'm here for.
Yeah. Okay, let's hear it. What you got?
That whole section started off with Forrest saying funny 3 times. Ha ha ha. And then he says he dyed his hair, much like the author of Ha 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 states he dyed his hair before he had to cover his ice blue eyes. And then at the end, Forrest does funny again 3 times. Ha ha ha. And it's Eric Sloan. Alan's entire solve ends with Eric Sloan, with an Eric Sloan cherry tree or apple tree. I can't remember which one it was. Yeah. So I don't know. Just wanted to throw that part in, but I like the book discussion.
Well, so don't you see in the very beginning how it's basically showing he's mirroring Eric, and not only mirroring him, but he's admiring him for having things figured out before he dies?
Yeah. And
Are you?
no, I'm with you there. I just,
Oh, nice. Sorry, what was that?
I said, I'm with you there. I don't know where to go with it.
Well, so my whole concept is this. From what I keep gathering, like the patterns I keep finding, it truly looks like TTOTC is his manifesto. And,
It's definitely not an autobiography. I agree.
well, not only that, and I feel like that the strongest evidence to support this theory is about how Eric wrote the book 80 and then died 2 weeks after his birthday, to the date. 2 weeks to the date after his 80th.
That's why you say 2 weeks. Okay, because I was looking over at Ashley. What's up, Street? I was looking over at Ashley, and you had made a comment. You're like 2 weeks to the day, and I looked over at Ashley. I was like, okay. Forrest Fenn died 6 weeks to the day. Forrest Fenn died 7 days to the day. Like, what does it matter 2 weeks? And then I see what you're saying. Eric Sloan died 2 weeks after to the day. So you're saying he's mimicking Eric Sloan almost.
Yeah. So like he wrote his book, his final book, 80, right? And then he ended up dying exactly 2 weeks after his 80th birthday. Like the day he turned 80, he died 2 weeks after that. And I held the Forrest Fenn 90th birthday bash. Forrest watched it with Shiloh, Christy, Cynthia, like everybody who we knew was in the community, Ben, Ashley, little lurkers, were on my channel sharing their favorite movies. It was awesome. Like Forrest cried, loved it. And then immediately after, I get contacted by Cynthia and Matt. They're like, you have to make sure you get to the Fenn finale. And I, at the time, wasn't going to make it because I'm like, oh, I don't travel anywhere because I'm a little chicken shit hermit and DJ won't go. And they're like, look, you have to make it. You're going to regret it. And so I did. I was like, screw it. I'm going to go by myself. And I literally got on a plane and did that shit myself. And this whole time, it seemed like a funeral, right? We're sitting there. We have these like final words from Forrest about the squirt. Matt is like talking for Forrest. Everyone's sharing their favorite memories again. Like it was almost like a sad funeral. And we know that Forrest was watching the entire time. And then literally the next day, he dies. That was exactly 2 weeks to the day of his 90th birthday.
I look, it's just such a weird topic to get into because it's commenting. I don't understand if Forrest did something like that. Let's say he took his own life at this point. What about Peggy? And I don't want to second guess Forrest. I don't want to question his choice to take his own life, but
why is everyone so scared to address this when the original plan, the original blueprint was for him to take his own life? His whole plan of the chase was to take his own life and then dare us to rob the grave.
Yeah, but his plan was Ashley's feet are in my camera now. His plan was to take his own life because he thought he was dying of cancer. That's a lot different than, oh, you're in remission now. I mean, now there's no motivation to kill yourself.
It wasn't specifically because of cancer. When he says he wanted to go out his way, is because he was describing, I don't want to waste away at home, surrounded by family, regretting, and, shut off from the world. Remember when he said that? He wasn't specifically stating about cancer. He was stating just in general to die. He didn't want it to be a depressing, sad, secluded ending. He wanted someone to put him under a tree and then just leave him there, just like the Indians did. It doesn't specifically have to apply to cancer. It applies to death. And he even stated in the interview, which was one of the alleged slip-ups, is that if the cancer ever came back, by the way, he would mark.
Uh-oh. I don't know if I got disconnected or what.
Wow, I think she froze up. I could still hear you.
Okay, so it's you and me, Straight.
Yeah,
what's up, dude?
My theory is this, and it has been. If he opened up saying, I'm the most spiritual man you ever meet, and the opening line of the poem is, as I have gone alone in there, spirituality is a single thing. You have to do it alone. And if Candy wants to think this is a manifesto, it was written by a higher hand, as he put, spirituality.
I'm with you there.
Trying to separate things, but I've tried separating them. It's not a material. The treasures he speaks of in my mind is not a material thing. It's finding yourself as a treasure, and that's spirituality.
I'm with you there. I just always think that Forrest was so adamant about how it's also a physical thing. I hid a physical thing. So I always like to think that it's deeper than just the twofold. Okay, you didn't find the treasure, but you had a great adventure. I'm agreeing with you in the sense of it's deeper than that. He wants you to find something else besides the treasure and not just a good vacation. So I'm with you there. I feel like hint of riches new and old could be both arguments at the same time. It could be finding something spiritual at the same time you find his loot, and you can accomplish both with the poem, not just one.
Yeah, it's tricky to understand, and it's kind of there's a lot of pushback saying no, it's got to be material. Well, think about it. Each and every one of us, when he threw that treasure chest out there, it was planted in our minds. We had it in our mind. That was our goal, was that physical treasure chest with the gold. So actually, yeah, he did hide it in your mind. And you
No, for sure. Yeah, I'm with you there.
There's the separation for me.
I can't let go of the fact that Forrest was pressed a few times about this exact topic. And he really did go out of his way to say, like, no, there's a physical thing I hid out there that you need to go look for.
Hey, you're getting ahead of everything.
There you are. Sorry, we were just killing time till you got back.
For some reason, it completely, like, my internet just stopped.
It happens. That's the Chinese invading right now.
Maybe.
I'm fucking with you. Jesus Christ.
Maybe.
Hey, by the way, Candy, did you hear there is a NASA has been tracking, this could be fake news. I saw it on Twitter for half a second and didn't investigate it. NASA is tracking an asteroid that can hit Earth on Valentine's Day 2046, 23 years from now. And there's a 1 in 400 chance it actually hits us. I've never heard them say 1 in 400. I've heard them say like 1 in 4,000, 1 in 50,000, 1 in 200,000.
Okay, so I've been following this for a while. And why do you think they just this year created DART? Because that's they knew this has been coming. So
this is why Elon wants us to leave.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why
I thought Elon was just trying to mine gold. I thought this motherfucker was sending up rockets just to get onto an asteroid to mine some gold.
He paid out millions for someone to figure out how to create, I think it was like oxygen out of like some type of other resource.
Yeah, I get that. He's also making a brain chip that's going to like fix everything. I'm well aware of that too. I still think the man just wants to be a quadrillionaire, and he's going to like mine an asteroid with like $900 trillion worth of fucking gold on it. I've always read that that's his master plan. He just wants to become richer and richer. And I love Elon Musk.
Supply and demand though. So if the supply and demand, like the more in demand the supply is, the higher the net worth, right? Or the worth.
I see what you're saying. Right. So if he mines an entire asteroid that has $900 trillion worth of gold, the value of gold should go down. That's if you know about it. Please he mines an asteroid of gold, how are you going to know? How are you going to know, hypothetically?
Are you telling me that the whole reason he's trying to get us off the planet is because he's somehow low-key going to be the hero of this meteor coming to knock us off our axis? He's going to make it disappear so he could secretly be in control of all the gold, and then the world will no longer be in peril.
I adhere to one system of belief, and that is the rich want to get richer. End of story.
Yeah, but we're getting off topic, damn it.
Yeah, okay. Yes.
So my point is this. If this is Manifesto, which it is, he's stating not only does he mirror Eric Sloan, but he admires him for how he has everything premeditated. And what he talks about is his father, Marvin, and Eric both premeditated their funerals. And he talks about how he admires them for it and how he wants to do that. So then you jump over here and he talks about how he was so smart. He's like, I wish I could be clever like that. When he turned 80, he gave himself a surprise birthday party because he was surprised he'd live that long. That's what his 90th birthday was. I created a 90th birthday surprise birthday bash for him. Okay, that's fucking weird. He died 2 weeks later. 2 weeks later, while standing on a street corner in Manhattan waiting for the lights to change. I'll never get over that. Who knows how long he might have lived if he hadn't had to wait for the light. Life is like that sometimes, and death is always too harsh. And so what's interesting is he talks about how he's going to be smart. He's later in Who's Who, he said his birthday was 1910 instead of 1905 and hoped his friends would forgive him for that foolish prank. I wish I could be clever like that. And then he even says that he wants to write a book like that. So where is it? Hold on. Try to look interested. So life for Eric was just a rule of thumb anyway, and he was philosophical about it all. He was married 5 times, and he said he always married housekeepers.
Stop. Life for Eric was just a rule of thumb anyways?
Yeah.
Say that sentence again from start to finish.
Life for Eric was just a rule of thumb anyway, and he was philosophical about it all.
That is a ridiculous sentence. That is a sentence of fluff, puff, air, clouds, wisp. It's nonsense. They're words strung together to make a sentence that don't actually say anything. What is he actually trying to say here? Life for Eric was just a rule of thumb. The rule of thumb is the way you go about life. Life isn't a rule of thumb. Your rule of thumb is I don't gamble. My rule of thumb is I don't buy alcohol. My rule of thumb is I never drive after 8 o'clock on Sundays. My rule of thumb
never
is
kiss on the first date.
Thank you. I never kiss on the first, whatever. That's a ridiculous one. But the point is,
Hey, Ash.
that's his sentence. It doesn't make sense.
That's my point. So what I'm
You
trying...
think Eric died on Madison Avenue? He's in Manhattan. What if he died on Madison? What if that was a hint?
That's where he actually owned that one gallery thingy, though, in New York. I remember I looked that up.
That's what I'm at. What if think of the implications? What if you find out in your research that Eric Sloan died on Madison Avenue?
Well, that goes along with Catcher in the Rye, too, because they were on Madison Avenue somewhere.
Right.
My point is, though, this is a manifesto. This is a manifesto. It's premeditated, just like Eric, just like Marvin did. And he is laying out his manifesto. He's telling you step by step, this is what I'm going to have happen. He says Eric died 2 weeks to the day he turned 80. Forrest died 2 weeks to the day he turned 90. Eric wrote a book called 80. Forrest has some mysterious unpublished book, and I'm going to bet you it's titled 90.
No way.
I bet you fucking anything.
I'll make a gentleman bet with you that the secret Shiloh book is not called 90.
Bet you anything. It's going to be something with 90. Like there's something with 90.
I'll give you the entire category of birthdays, and I will still do the bet with you.
What do you mean the entire category of birthdays?
Like the book could be titled Forrest Never Dies. And I'd almost go, that means he has unlimited birthdays and you almost win. Or the 91st candle. I'd go, okay, you still win. What I'm saying is the book title of whatever Forrest's secret book would be is not going to completely mimic Eric's, or it's not, at this juncture, he's not stealing 80 and making it 90. He would go apple tree, or it would be something unrelated. It would just be something to confuse you at that point.
Okay, whatever the book title is going to be, it's going to reflect this information right here.
Okay, no, that I will agree with you with. I'm just saying the title can never hit the nail on the head. The title has to hit the nail of there's an A story, there's a B story, there's a C story. The title should almost work around the B story and
Well, did you find it weird though?
strengthen the A story.
No, did you find it weird that this is like fully about Eric Sloan, and then all of a sudden at the end it starts to taper off about Marvin?
Well, okay, give us an example from the book. Read how it tapers off into Marvin for us.
So he talks like, this is Forrest saying, I'm almost 80. Like when he starts this, he's almost 80 years old. Then he's like, you find that interesting because Eric Sloan was 80. He died. He wrote a book called 80, and then he died 2 weeks later after he turned 80. Then he starts talking about how he had it all premeditated. Life was always simple. He was very philosophical approach about it all. And then, but being almost 80 gives me a lot of time to think about regrets and other things. Who would you rather have working on your car? So he starts talking about the whole concept, someone who is 4 years of mechanic school or a guy who's been working on broken cars for 4 years, right? But then he starts talking about his father, how his father teaches him things and how it's always about his dad. So it's not fully about his dad, but it starts to taper off into lessons that he learned from his father. So it's always like,
plus it's an age-old question that he asks us. Would you rather have, the car mechanic working on your car who has been in the shop since he was 16, but he never went to college? He's 23 now, and he has 7 years of experience. Or would you rather have the car mechanic who went to school for this, had 4 years of learning, and has never worked a day in his life? Forrest would say, of course you take the guy out of without the college degree because he has 7 years of life experience. Yeah. Life experience is worth twice as much as whatever bullshit education. The theme throughout the book is fuck education.
Yeah, but like the main concept from these 2 pages right here are specifically about how he respects and wants to mirror Eric Sloan and his father, and how everything's premeditated. His father had it all planned out. Eric had it all planned out. Why is it so crazy for me to insinuate Forrest also had it all planned out? These are 2 people in his life that he respected and observed and wanted to imitate. So why wouldn't he imitate it?
He would. I totally see how he would. I was just arguing the title with you. And
well, I'm trying to say, like, this right here, the very first thing you read, opening book, screams Manifesto. This is Forrest Manifesto, premeditating all of it, all the way down to the Fenn finale. Okay, Fenn finale. And then we've got more evidence to suggest this is a manifesto via the Pam email. Pam randomly gets an email from Forrest meant for Shiloh, right? And just so happens that in that email, there is a big old chunk of the exact wording and word verbiage from the Medium article. And then Street gently point out that Medium is someone who is in contact with the dead. Oh, okay, interesting, because no one's really heard of Medium before. Like, what the fuck? And then on top of that, it's more a story about Forrest and Eric Sloan. Huh. Interesting. There's like the same email that Pam got is a match to the Medium article that was signed the finder mysteriously. So what if it's not a cover-up? What if it's not a fraud? What if it's a continuation? And that's why we're not getting anything. Because if we actually had the answers, that means we can't play part 2. Because there's so much here that screams manifesto, premeditated, everything is laid out right before your eyes in this little book.
By the way, Troy pointed out that Eric died on 5th Avenue. I was just asking if he died on Madison. It would have been cute if he did, but
it would have been cute. Hey, can you like go back in time and make sure you die on Madison instead of 5th Avenue? Thanks.
Well, the reason I even point to it is an earlier comment that I had heard about before was he didn't die at the street light. He died on the steps of a hotel or something. And that's what I thought. I definitely remember reading that he didn't really die at the street light. So Forrest is changing the story somehow. So why is Forrest changing the story? Does Forrest want us to know something about this story that he's not telling us in the thrill of the chase, but that he wants us to learn about? So hence the question, well, did he die on Madison Avenue? I don't know. I just wanted to ask that. I would find it interesting what was the cross section? What was it? Was it Fifth and what? Olga's house on Manhattan Ave. Yeah, see, and there you go, Troy. So like, okay, maybe it's not Madison, right? I'm not trying to force 9 Mile. I'm trying to make a cohesive narrative out of this godforsaken treasure book.
Forrest is signing the Secrets of San Lazaro on this picture. I never noticed that until now.
Yeah, that's honestly, when Ashley got me the Secrets of San Lazaro book, I was very fucking excited because this was the one book that I felt like was maybe the most important thing he did. And
I haven't had a chance to really analyze it yet because I'm analyzing the Manifesto first.
You when you read that book, you need to put yourself in a position of like a college student. All of you guys do. That book feels like a college textbook, but the way a college textbook should have been written. Forrest nails it and he doesn't do it by himself. He does it with a lot of help in that book. But that book is the single best textbook on modern day archaeology that exists on the planet. It's that important of an archaeological book. And it's underrated because there's a giant treasure hunt that we're all obsessed with. And mainstream archaeology doesn't like Forrest Fenn. And so, all of that works against Forrest. But it's one of those, I think in the long run, he ends up getting the credit he deserves because that book speaks for itself. That book teaches you how to learn about history. It teaches you how to appreciate it, and it teaches you how to do it physically and how they did it and how to do it with an attitude that doesn't perpetuate and create the chaos that exists in academia as it is today. All right, end of the soapbox. Sorry. Yeah, like Troy says, it's worth the $100.
Okay, so want to know a fun fact that I uncovered a couple of years ago that I never really gave validity to or thought was important. So you know how Cynthia stated that Forrest was originally going to title TTOTC the Rice sequel?
Yeah, I've heard that.
You can look into the back history of licensing in association with Catcher in the Rye, and there was an article talking about how I think it was a corporation or an LLC reached out to them to try and get the right to make an unauthorized autobiography based on Catcher in the Rye.
There is something though against this, which I love the Catcher in the Rye thing because once again, I can take it back to D.B. Cooper, Holden Caulfield's brother. What was his name? D.B.
I hate you.
It's right there. That's why I think Skippy is DB. If Forrest is Holden, Holden's brother's name is DB. So anyway, I think I've lost my point. Actually, fuck, it was about DB, and then
you just started to taper off.
It's too bad. It was a good point.
Really important though, because it talks about the whole Copperfield, right? The Copperfield is comparison. Why? Have fun.
That's right, moisturize. Ashley got. Did you know this? Ashley got the book number 727, nice. Which is that's the DB Cooper hijacked the 727. It was in front of the Plaza Hotel on Fifth Avenue. But what was the cross street though?
Y'all are fired.
Fifth and what? Fifth and Madison? No, I'm kidding. I don't know how the streets work in New York. I know like Fifth and Madison are probably parallel to each other. Moisturize gets it 727. I loved that Ashley got 727 and signed by Forrest. If Forrest Fenn were DB Cooper, and then you have The Secrets of San Lazaro 727 signed by Forrest Fenn, who is DB Cooper, that book is $1 million.
That's funny.
Most of your audience hates my DB Cooper stuff, but
I don't hate it, but
I
I'm not
truly believe in it. That's what I ask. I truly believe in it. And
When
if you truly believe in your shit,
no, when I was messaging Shiloh about it yesterday and he was like giving a little funny commentary and everything, it was funny. But then when I was listening to you guys continuously talk about the same shit, I was like, I will fucking trade you places. I will be in the middle of the jungle. The city girl will be in the middle of the jungle if you trade me places and you just listen to the DB Cooper bullshit.
It's not that bullshit. At the very least, and people haven't been able. People have seen the clip, I guess. If you've seen Jens's little trailer about Forrest mentioning DB Cooper, but like it's very obvious at the very least, Forrest was a fan. Like Forrest brings up DB Cooper out of nowhere in Jens's interview, and apparently does it twice. We've only seen once. He's holding on to the other one. But Jens is asking Forrest about different online identities. He asks Forrest if he was Rooster Cogburn. He asks Forrest if he was someone on the same level as Rooster. And Forrest says no and no. And then there's a moment of silence, and then Forrest goes, and I'm not DB Cooper either, although that would be fun too. And then he just starts giggling. And Jens is like, dude, I never brought up DB Cooper once. It has nothing to do with online names. Nobody was online DB Cooper.
So you know what I'm noticing? So it's like my favorite page in the entire book. I think it's page 13.
Favorite page in the entire book? Is it the giant
page 15? Page 15. Page 15. Yes.
Why is that your favorite page in the whole book?
Because that is the pinnacle of understanding where he wants to die.
Why do you think he enlarges the font and puts giant asterisks on that page?
Because he wants you to notice it.
What did Forrest describe as a hint or an aberration?
Things that live out on the edge.
Anything that stands out.
Yeah, and lives out on the edge.
Would you say page 15 stands out?
Yes, and that's why it's my favorite.
Interesting. I like it. I was just curious. Keep going.
I'm like, so this is the thing though. This is the most important part, and I've talked about this before, but let's reiterate this again, right? Right here. He talks about sooner or later, each of us will be nothing but the leftovers of history or an address in a book that was never written. So now I sit here past midnight beside my juniper fire, reflecting back to the year when my awareness took its first few steps. And then it shows the asterisk, right?
Yes.
So the answer to that is actually my war for me.
Well, hold up. What? You're saying this with 100% certainty, and I already have a counter argument.
So trust.
So hold on.
Guarantee it.
I'm not going to shove that down your throat, but what I will say is when my awareness took its first few steps, if you notice in the book, he alludes to his awareness taking its first few steps when he's 13.
Wait for it.
Okay. If you want to, what I like about what you're doing and what I agree with is I think this page tells you you're supposed to do this book out of order. This book is meant to be read not in the order in which it's been delivered. That asterisk page tells you you're supposed to go right now to where his awareness takes its first few steps. So if your answer is my war for me, great, skip to my war for me. If your answer is 13 years old, you need to skip elsewhere. And it becomes a choose your own adventure. I'm not saying one is right or one is wrong. I'm just saying whatever you choose to do, it's available to you if you take the idea that the asterisk page turns into a choose your own adventure.
Okay, so for one thing, there's like 4 different variations of my war for me. I've got all of them. I've hunted them all down. I've got the one
Did you way back Santa Fe Trading Company?
Yeah. And I
You
also
got the
found the
version that
original
was on
article.
that. Okay. Just making sure.
And I found the original article. I've got the one from My War for Me with the blue writing, which is a really good resource. And then the original one from the book, right? So there's 4 different variations. And what people don't know is that when he says, then one day in 1969, as I was looking through my flight log, my eyes fixed on an entry that had only a brief explanation. But I remembered every detail of that flight and why I had marked it like that. In the original story, he marks this specific date in 1969 with an asterisk. Did you know that?
In his flight log.
Yep.
Yes, I'm aware of that.
So wait for it. It gets better. So he sorry, it wasn't in 1969. He found it in 1969, but he originally came across it in 1956. So he says one day he's going through in 1969 and he realized he's looking at his flight log and it was the specific day, July 13th, 1956, that he found something and he marked it with an asterisk. But then it gets better. Watch this. Watch this. Let me find it somewhere right here.
Moisturize. Can you, while Indy's looking it up, can you explain why I differ from Matt? Also, Troy agrees with me, and so I'm going to point it out. That he says Ben is right. Forrest became aware in jump starting the learning curve.
Yes, I know, but you're forgetting his mind is always at about age 13. Remember?
Right. So isn't that where his awareness takes his first few steps?
Yes, but since he's 13 at all times, because his mindset stays at about 13, it applies to both.
Okay. Fair enough. I'll allow that.
Sorry,
Not
I'm
that
being
I
a little
matter,
bit
but
more
I'll
listen to me
that.
right now because all day today I did not fucking get listened to. So I'm just like, listen to me. It's
No.
channel.
We're having an intellectual conversation here, and I don't know why Street's not jumping in, but
The Street's probably
I'm
like,
with
you
you.
motherfuckers are not letting me talk about the stars.
Well, and Street just wants to jump in and say, whatever you guys are reading, it just goes back to your imagination, and he's probably right.
She's gonna go, but what if land isn't an issue?
Monopoly, why is tonight one hell of a night for you? Why do I feel like Monopoly is Tyler?
Isn't it amazing where I don't say nothing and you guys speak for me? I love that,
Yeah.
man. Continue. Silence, man. You guys continue to talk.
So he says right here, years later, I would meld these thoughts into one, the sum of which would change my life. I'm coming to that, right? So he talks about how his time at the waterfall with a grave marker melded his thoughts into when he marked the asterisk in his flight log. And that's very important because
I think my war for me is a booby trap.
I'm not done.
Fucking booby trap. All right, I know. Keep going.
I'm not done.
All right, sorry.
Hold on. So
booby
now it gets to here.
Mm-hmm. Gets to another booby
trap. The
trap.
most important part ever.
The most important booby trap.
Shut up. I'm going to cut you all the way from fucking Arizona.
My war for me is a booby trap. He knows that you're going to take my war for me seriously because he knows you're just like every other person who
Ashley,
goes to the
can
soldier.
You shut him up for 2 seconds?
No, I'm being serious. I've heard this from a veteran. A vet tells me sometimes like when you say, "Oh, thank you for your service," like they almost look back at you and go, "Fuck you." Like that's what one of my bouncers was a vet, and he said like it annoys me when people say thank you for your service sometimes. And so I don't know. I think Forrest is well aware that people are going to take very, very close care and attention with my war for me. And he knows that people are going to go, okay, he's talking about his wartime. So he's going to hint to something in this story because it's such a big story. No, Forrest knows you're looking for a hint and he's going to use this opportunity to just force you to learn about him. And there's no hints whatsoever. It's a perfect opportunity for a booby trap.
Okay, shush for 2 seconds.
Okay, I'll shut up now.
I'm looking for something and it's hard to find it when you're talking.
Well, I figured while you're looking, I could just talk. But Brian says my war for me describes the place. It could. That's a great theory. Or it's subterfuge. And yes, there's subterfuge in the book, not subterfuge in the poem.
There's a
Troy's going to
specific
bed and
perk.
agrees with.
I swear, I'm gonna buy you a fucking 6-pack of beer and get it sent to your house just to shut you up.
Jolly Green 423. That's right. Moisturize. Moisturize sees the 423 on the Jolly Green Giant page. 423. Easy as DBC. 423 DBC. 423 DBC.
I just realized something.
What'd you realize? Good night, Troy.
I have the power to mute your ass. I'm looking for the most important fucking sentence in the entire book. Hold on.
Oh God, what is it? No, tell me it before you find it. I want to see your memory skills. What do you think it said?
So it says, so when it comes my turn to die, tack on that date to help me last a little longer. And he's talking about the date from July 13th, 1956. So
that's crazy. I don't remember a single word of that.
I do, because I'm a weirdo and my brain picks up patterns. And so I'm looking for it. It's just a little hard to find. But I know it was the first thing I ever noticed when I got the book for the first time. The first time I read the book, I remember he was talking about that date specifically. And I was like, oh my God, that's the most important thing of the entire book. So he talks about
that's a bold statement to say it's
it also
important
is
thing
the
in the book.
exact stamp. It's the exact stamp for In Love with Yellowstone.
Wait, hold on. Repeat that.
Wait for it. You know the one where he says my one room cabin in paradise? You know that chapter?
My one room cabin in paradise? No, I don't remember that.
Hold on. I'm trying to find this one first.
In Love with Yellowstone?
Yeah, that's what I said. In Love with Yellowstone.
Oh.
Is he talking about Fennhaven at that point? Like what? My one room cabin in Yellow? I don't remember that at all.
Hold on. I'm looking for that fucking sentence. Because he talks about, like, it's the most important thing in the entire book. The entire book. He says, and when it comes my turn to die, tack on that date to help me last a little longer.
Wow. I mean, that's incredible. I do not remember that sentence at all.
I do, because it was the one thing that had my entire obsession with Firehole. So hold on. It's just always so hard for me to find because it's always a pain. Okay, you know, I think it might be right here. Hold on. Jolly Green Giant. Oh, I also found the article where it talks about the big footprint when he gets rescued. I have it somewhere.
Troy keeps saying goodnight, but he keeps coming back.
Probably.
And then Bill apparently is talking about petrified poop.
Bill can go fuck himself, and anyone who wants to block his piece of shit, sorry, creepy ass, gets my permission.
I didn't mean to start that. Sorry, my bad.
No,
keep going.
People do not understand. Bill, you are not allowed in my chat room. You're not allowed in anyone else's chat room. You need to be taught a lesson. You are going to be put in timeout until you can act like a fucking functioning adult. And if you ever think it's okay for you to ever insinuate the shit that you said in your video yesterday, you have a fucking long way coming. I will take your ass to court for the shit you say. So you better fucking step up, act like a goddamn adult, and stop bitching at everybody, wasting everyone's time, blaming everyone because we don't give a flying fuck about your Moses solve or your car. Done.
Well, I think. Hold up. I do think his solve location has perhaps some archaeological significance.
No, it does. It does.
Yeah,
but
sure.
He's just a fucking asshole that trashes people and says shit that he thinks is okay is not okay. And I'm not going to reiterate what he said yesterday. A lot of people know. And a lot of people went and reported it.
Candy, I got you. Bill, just take the video down, man. Just take that one down.
No, you get the fuck out of my chat room.
I mean, do whatever, but just take that video down and you're good. It's a bad video. It's just dumb. It's not even funny.
Where the fuck is that date? See, Like, it's so annoying. Like, I want to be chill and hang out and talk about like fun.
I didn't mean to rile you up. Honestly, I didn't mean to rile you up on that one.
It's not you, it's Bill. Like, I was so mad yesterday. I was shaking. You don't understand, Ben.
I got you. I don't want to even challenge if you were mad or not. I'm just saying I didn't mean to rile you up. You're good, Claire. You're good. You got me, you got Street. We're talking book. I think people like you talking book. I think talking book is what people want. So
I mean, I do all the time.
No, yeah, but talking book and then you flipping through the pages and talking book, those are two different things.
No, I mean, like when I was first starting my channel and growing it.
Right. Yeah. I get you. Well, it's 2023, so it's a nice refresher. I think Street appreciates it. I think I'm talking for Street again. I'm trying to rile him up. I think Chat appreciates it. I think Chat loves you, Candy. I think Chat thinks that Candy is the candy of the chase.
I don't know if I should.
Nothing. Yeah, I was gonna say, not a single fucking reaction from you. You were just like scanning lines with your head, just right, left to right, left to right, left to right.
It's so hard to find. It makes sense. That's why not many people recognize or can point it out. But I mean, I'm really good at connecting patterns. And I remember I did this last year, and I called Jens and I actually explained it to him, and I was like breaking it down.
If you were that good at connecting patterns, you would have found the chest.
No, it's so hard for me to articulate how my brain connects different patterns as they're like processing through my mind. And so I'm trying really hard to articulate exactly what I'm looking for, how they connect, but I have to remember, you guys are not in my head. You cannot see what I'm envisioning. So I'm trying to explain it, but it's also super hard because I'm like, oh my God, it goes here and it goes here and then does this and it goes that. And you're like, what? Yeah, I know. So he talks about, so when it becomes my turn to die, tack that date on and help me last a little longer.
This is from My War for Me?
Yep.
You know what? That's probably why I don't remember it. Yo, you want to see what the moon looks like? I don't know if my camera can capture it, but if I keep talking, then I think you guys see what I see, like visually. Can you guys see the moon? I'm kind of like holding my phone up to it. I don't know if y'all can see it. It's pretty dope looking.
I just see the fire.
Well, now you should see the fire because I sat back down, but...
Oh, sorry.
The big picture. Candy, do you think we can talk about the big picture before we get too lost, or do you want to talk about My War for Me first? I think the big picture is a good, relevant topic, and it can make you flip through the entire book.
Hold on, I think I got it.
If I had $1 for the amount of times Candy has said, I think I got it.
It's got to be after this paragraph.
Candy's auditioning for the next documentary right now of what a researcher looks like. Watch as she scans the page, puts her hand on the forehead.
It's like, you would think I would put some type of effort into my appearance, because if I sometimes get to talk to Shiloh, you would think maybe occasionally he jumps on and it's like, hi, Shiloh, I look like literally death warmed over. But that doesn't matter, because I'm more interested in finding what I'm telling you guys. It is the most important thing in the entire TTOTC book. I'm not kidding.
I have a new rule. How about we never mention Shiloh again until Shiloh actually gives us something?
No.
Okay. It was worth a shot.
I will never recover from what you did yesterday.
Yo, that last night was funny. You should have loved that. Shiloh should be looking at this wood going, this is off. Ben has awful wood. This wood doesn't smell that good. It pops in the air in an unadulterated fashion. I don't like it. I need old wood. I hardly drink beer anymore, candy or alcohol at all. That like once every 2 weeks. So now that I've had 2 beers in me, I'm tipsy. Let's rock and roll.
Welcome to my.
Let's fucking dissect this book, playa.
I'm trying to. I'm gonna get to it. I have it. I remember it was on the left side. This comment.
My war for me should not be examined.
I found it.
Rotate the log. I'm
it.
waiting to rotate it.
I found it. Okay. So it says, instead of all those medals, let me read the whole thing. I found it. Okay. My personal contribution to the Vietnam War was of a dubious distinction. I had been shot down once in the south of that country and once again in Laos. My reward for all of that was about $1,000 a month in pay, a silver star, 3 distinguished flying crosses, a bronze star, 16 air medals, and a Purple Heart. And when I boarded the plane that brought me home, to South Vietnamese pilots ran up and handed me a small box saying, "We want you to have this." It was the Vietnamese Cross of Gallantry, their country's highest medal. Although it was not officially presented, I still value it and the appreciation that came with it. Never mind how important those things were to me at the time, they later added up to a big empty. Was there nothing better to show for that year away from my family and risking my life every day? Maybe so. Instead of all those medals, I wish I could have been given a college degree in survival, or at least an honorable mention for just having lasted it out. Or maybe when it comes my turn to die, somehow that year could be repaid and tacked on to let me last a little longer.
That's why I don't remember that part, because Alan and I always bring up everything before what you just said, that last sentence. There's an entire paragraph in Ha 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 that mimics it. He talks about his $1,000 a month pension. Surely there must be more out there for all of the accomplishments he did, and that's why he has a grudge, and tells the stewardess on flight 305, "I don't have a grudge with your airline. I just have a grudge."
So when he talks about how he found a way to make the 2 moments meld together, remember the Philadelphia caper and then the occurrence with the waterfall and the grave marker, he found a way to meld the both together. And so that date is July 13th, 1956. And it says the flight had been many years before, 13 to be exact, on the 13th of July, 1956. I had taken an old T-33 jet trainer from Stephenville, Newfoundland, to Popefield, North Carolina. And so this is where he does the thumb with the Philadelphia caper, right?
Right.
So when you go to July 13th, 1956, because he's saying one day in 1969, he comes across in his flight log where he marked it with an asterisk. And the asterisk is where he takes 2 moments when he was shot down and was trying to survive Laos. And then when it was the Philadelphia caper, right? Later on, we find out, because of rumblings and ramblings, it was somewhere between Wyoming or Shoshone and Casper and Shoshone, Wyoming, that melded the 2 together. So you go here, and I believe it's In Love with Yellowstone, is that exact stamp. That right there. One. It's the one with the 1-room school, 1-room paradise thingy. Hold on. Here we go. Oh no, it's the Totem Cafe caper. That's what I forgot. Okay, so it shows West Yellowstone, July 13th, 1956.
How old is Forrest? He's 26 years old.
Huh?
Where's Forrest? Is 26. We have to remember how old Forrest is each time we see these dates. Maybe the game isn't understanding the date on the stamp, but it's understanding how old Forrest is at the time.
Possibly, but it's also the chapters themselves.
They're not chapters. Don't call them chapters.
So the poem is a ledger, and specific stories in the book are the map. And once you can deduce the certain information you need from the map, you then take that information and plug it into the poem again with the clues, and that creates natural directions to make the poem into a map. So this specifically tells you to help him last a little longer after he's gone, plug in this date, and it takes you to the Totem Cafe caper. It shows Forrest as a kid under a tree and talks about West Yellowstone. And we know, thanks to the Condor 2 Red database, Jack was obsessively going from West Yellowstone to 9 Mile Hole, right? Don't you find that interesting? So he talks about...
Well, hold up. We don't know from the Condor 2 Reddit database that Jack was going from West Yellowstone to 9 Mile Hole religiously. We just know that he had a stretch of the Madison. That's it.
Well, hold on. There's going to be something super important in here. Because we got the Totem Cafe, and totem is another variation for the word blaze, by the way. So you got Totem Cafe caper. And it says, my one-room cabin in paradise. And talks about West Yellowstone, Montana. Talks about the newspaper. Talks about Canyon Street.
The Philadelphia caper. Moisturize. You know darn tootin' well the papers called it the D.B. Cooper caper. That's a fact. It's called the D.B. Cooper caper.
I think this chapter gives you more insight into Canyon Down, possibly.
I like the one theory of if you take the poem and apply it to the map of West Yellowstone.
You can't do that until you plug in the information, though.
But what do you mean until you plug in the information? You just look at a map of West Yellowstone and you do the poem.
No, the information from the book itself, it gives you confirmers. Like Madison Junction, at Madison Junction, there is a little museum that says do touch and everything like that. And that's what he says in the book.
Whoa, what? There is no museum at Madison Junction.
You did not know that?
There is not a museum. Where is this museum at Madison Junction?
Madison Junction. It's historically, like, it's a historic monument. You don't know about the
Candy, have you been to Madison Junction?
It's, oh my gosh, it's it's a
where I camped at Madison Junction. I camped there for a week. Where the fuck was this?
You are deterring the fuck out of what I'm trying to do. Hold on.
I'm just trying to figure it out so I can go to it next time. I'm just saying I missed this.
These are the confirmers. It's the madam.
But I'm not trying to question if it's a confirmer. I'm saying that I camped at Madison Junction for a week. I never saw this. All I saw was a shop where I could get some fucking water, some beer, and some firewood. That's what I saw.
Hold on. I forgot what it's officially called.
Madison Junction is where I almost got banned from Yellowstone for fucking life because the teenagers kept leaving food out when we were away at 9 Mile Hole in Mount Haynes. And they left goldfish out, like, you know, the crackers, and we came back, and that ranger was not happy with me. That ranger was very, very, very angry with me. Ranger, whoever you were, you look just like Sarah Davis. I'm sorry. I apologize.
So it's the information center, and it also doubles as a museum.
The information center is where I got my firewood at. This is redonkulous. That's not a museum.
Did you see where it says please touch and all the other stuff it talks about?
I did not. Oh,
that's what I'm telling you.
No, hold up. Ashley, are you still in chat? Was there a sign? I almost feel like I pointed out something where I was like, hey, look at that. It says please touch. You may be onto something there. I feel like maybe I did see this. Now that I think about it. Interesting. Wow, the world is a fucking crazy place, man. I love it. Don't you love just being shocked sometimes? I love it. Moisturize doesn't listen to Rangers. Well,
So
the Rangers threatened me with being banned. I had no choice but to listen to them.
So this is where the creation myth originates too. And I had a huge part of this as myself for like the longest time. I even sent it to Fenn and everything. And it includes Mount Haynes, by the way.
Ooh.
So I think it's this one right here, Madison Junction, Yellowstone National Park. I think it's, let me see if it has the information I need. So the T-shaped structure has structure, one wing is rubble. Frames marked by a long series of transition elements. Right into single room layout. Rockefeller. Ooh, the Rockefellers did this? They funded part of this? Ooh.
Hey, Ashley is saying yes, she remembers this. There was a please touch sign at Madison Junction Information Center. You're absolutely right, there is.
So that's what I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
In the book,
wow,
he
that's
tells
fucking
you
interesting.
a random story where he goes into some like shop and they're like, you're responsible, do not touch, all this stuff. And he's like, screw that. I'm gonna change it around. So it says do touch. We are we're responsible, do whatever you want. And you're at Madison Junction and there's actual like a physical place that says do touch. These are little tidbits of information.
Yes, I will agree. I will agree
to
with that one.
confirm where you're at.
I will agree. That's fucking interesting. And again, I made the comment to Ashley when we were knowingly there to search of, oh, look at that. It says fucking please touch. And we didn't even connect it as a confirmer. That's interesting.
What I'm trying to tell you. This whole book is not only a manifesto, but it confirms everything you need to know in order to go where you need to go. And what I'm telling you guys is I found so much evidence that proves there is more than one chest. And I'm not just talking about information. I'm talking about he hit a chest in Wyoming and he hit a chest in Montana. And I'm not sure if Matt last year fucking found it. Okay. Because you want to know why? You want to know why, Benjamin? This might piss you off, actually. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, for some reason, like you're blacked out. Oh, Street left. I think Street was like, fuck you. You're not listening to me. What happened to Street? Shit. I promise I'll talk spiritual in a little bit, Street. It's just really important. Okay. So the chapter, The Long Ride Home, says somewhere in Wyoming, right? Somewhere in Wyoming. And we know the chest is somewhere north of Santa Fe. So how can it go from Wyoming to Montana unless there were two of them, right? So you take the information that I got from, look, Peters with ropes, do not touch. We all know, thanks to Gigi and others, that the illustration itself is Madison Junction. The teacher is Madison Junction. The rope is the Madison River. The kids are the fishing holes. And there's two boxes, not one box.
Yeah, no, I've done this rabbit hole. I'm with you, but again,
no, I'm just
that
more
that
else.
rope ends. Then you go stop. That rope ends at Mount Haynes. That fucking rope ends at Mount Haynes. If you start that rope at Madison Junction, rope ends.
Baker's hole, you goober, the Barnes holes.
What are you talking about? If you start the rope with the T, and again, all of this matters on how much you've zoomed into the map. If you start the teacher with her halting sign at Madison Junction, that rope ends at Mount Haynes.
It doesn't.
Yes, it does.
It does. It actually ends right at Baker's hole, like the cutoff.
It doesn't end at Baker's hole. That's not right at all.
Really did the overlay. The head.
Packer Jack did an overlay.
This head, that is the outline of Harlequin Lake. Gigi's already fucking proven that.
I understand that, and so is Packer Jack. And if you're saying the head is Harley Quinn Lake, then
No,
there's no way in
Gigi
hell.
did that way before
Listen to me,
Packer. I don't give
Candy.
a flying fuck.
Listen to me, Candy. I don't care. You always make it about who has something first. Who
Yeah,
gives a
because
shit?
sometimes
How
it
do you
actually
know?
needs to be addressed because
Candy,
I'm tired of
Candy,
sitting here
how do you
watching
know? How do you
Packer
know?
Jack take a whole bunch of credit
Candy,
that Gigi
stop.
did herself.
Candy, how do you know? How do you know that 58 other searchers didn't fucking see that as well?
Don't care.
First of all,
Don't fucking care. I
your
just don't want to
point.
hear Packer Jack did it first.
Okay,
That's all
okay,
I don't
okay,
want to hear.
okay. Look, Harley Quinn. If you're saying that that face is Harley Quinn Lake, fine. Then there's absolutely no way in hell that rope ends at Barnes Hole or Baker's Hole.
Yeah,
If that face is Harley Quinn Lake, then it even proves my point even further. This rope ends at Mount Haines. End of story.
Okay. So for 2 seconds, this is my point. Other information that I've gotten from Flywater. One, we know June 5th was an important date for Wyoming. I believe either the date for looking for Lewis and Clark or this one for Flywater, July 23rd, is also very important, especially 1942. So what's interesting is that when you read certain information about Flywater, he talks about his favorite fishing holes. It talks about June, July, August, specifically in Yellowstone. And so, okay, you apply the information about 9 Mile Hole, right? One of his favorite fishing holes. That's for right here. And you're the one that folded it and shows key for Yellowstone. And then it shows 9 Mile Hole, father, right? Well, look at what's exactly directly across from 9 Mile Hole, Wyoming versus Montana. You got Watkins Creek.
Candy, now that you have that page out, can you look at the X on the middle picture at the bottom?
Mm-hmm.
Bottom. Take your finger, put it on the photo. Okay, move it to your right. Go down.
Yeah.
Do you see the X?
Yeah, I know.
Okay, now fold the page along the X.
Did you not hear me? I already said you were the one that folded the page and shows key.
No, I
for
want you to show everybody. Fold the page along the X.
Folding my book. Fuck you.
Why not? Who
Because
gives a shit? This is part of the solve. It's part of the solve.
Nope,
All right,
not
fine.
gonna,
What?
Nope, not gonna fold it.
It's part of the. Okay, hey, guess what? If K-Pro's watching, her first edition. No. That's not how you do it. On one page. Hold on. Okay, you don't have to do it, but I'm going to show you how to do it, and just don't actually do it. So go to 123. The page. No. Just stay there. No. Stay there. The page on your right-hand side. Okay. Fold just that page onto the X, but don't actually fold it.
No, I can't do it. I'm sorry.
That's what you then fold into the next page. And so look, Yellowstone Park turns into key.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it written Yellowstone Park? Why not Yellowstone National Park? Why not Yellowstone? It's Yellowstone Park. Because Yellowstone Park, if you fold the page correctly like Mad Magazine, Yellowstone Park in a mirror turns into Y-E-K, key.
You know what I just found out?
What?
How we did that fun little thing with the flashlight?
Yes.
If you put the
Mitzi Mitch?
Flashlight underneath the X,
Yes. What do you get?
guess where it matches up perfectly to?
What?
Not only his favorite fishing spot where it says my secret fishing hole, it also aligns perfectly where it talks about pillow down and sent it in.
And this is what I mean. If you go to the first page of the book, it tells you about this printed paper, this silk paper. There's a reason this paper is translucent. There's a reason you can see through the paper. It's a treasure hunting book.
My point's this though. So there's pieces throughout this entire book that confirms you're actually in the right spot. You're doing, it's giving the information. It's telling you June, July, August. Okay. June, July, August. We've got three stamps for that. July is for Flywater.
But it's all about June. June.
That was for the first one. That's for the Wyoming solve. We got to figure out the Montana solve. That is looking for Lewis and Clark. Go to looking for Lewis and Clark.
Well, then you have Red Canyon solve with Rudy.
No, not specifically Red Canyon. This is the thing. You've got to figure out how to take certain information and
If you have a Montana, if you have a, okay, so if there's a Wyoming solve and the solver for Wyoming says all the clues are in Wyoming, okay, so then if there's a Montana solve, then all the clues for Montana should be in Montana, right?
No, it depends. It's
I would think that's how you do an Omega. You have to mimic. So if you have a Montana solve, I think all where warm waters halt in Montana has to be where the Madison River empties into Hebgen Lake.
It's not just that. It's
That has to be, if you have a Montana solve and your warm waters halt isn't where the Madison flows into Hebgen, I think you're off base. Because even if you don't want to do temperature,
right
and
now.
warm means comfortable.
You're not supposed to solve it.
Comfortable means Yellowstone.
You're not supposed to solve it. You're supposed to use the information in the book to deduce what was being told so you can understand it.
Says you.
Well, so far I'm getting some pretty damn good results just doing it.
How do you know you're just not getting results other people have had?
It doesn't matter as long as we're all getting the same fucking thing.
Listen, there's a funny thing about science, and I love it. You can erase the Bible. You can erase all religious text. Would that text reappear in the future? Yes or no? Now, if you erased all of science and all of math, would the same math and science reappear in the future? And the answer is yes. Science is true. Science stays true. It doesn't matter what era humanity is in. If they look into science, they get the exact same equation.
What I'm trying to point out is this. The chapter, The Long Ride Home, has the stamp somewhere in Wyoming. That chapter helps you understanding a clue detail for Wyoming. Now we have somewhere in Montana. This chapter is going to provide us with some type of information to understand the other treasure. I'm telling you, I think there's more than one. And I find it very fascinating that after Cynthia and all them did the filming with Netflix over at 9 Mile Hole back in early 2021, Cynthia and Matt, after they did the filming, low-key went to Watkins Creek. Did you know that? They reached out to Marty. Matt reached out to Marty and asked Marty where her and Gigi were searching. She told him about Watkins Creek. He went there, and it was either late June or early July, by the way, when he and Cynthia allegedly went there. Just like the stamp says.
I think
Watkins Creek.
I think Shiloh wouldn't promise epicness or fun unless he was interested in treasure hunts. It's just I have to agree with you. Maybe we're setting the bar too high for Shiloh, but you know what? He deserves it at this point. You caused this, man. I think maybe there is a second chest and a second hunt.
Yeah, and my point is this. The Medium article is part 2. That's part of it. That's part 2. You're already supposed to be working on it. You're already supposed to be decoding it. And I think it's going to lead you right to Hebgen, Montana area. And that's also why Chris from Vanetti's, who had a bet with Mike Howling, Mike was team Wyoming, Chris was team Montana. It was announced, oh, we decided to say the chest was found in Wyoming. So Mike's like, haha, he's got to pay up. And Forrest is like, don't pay any bets just yet. Does that make sense to you now?
It's made sense to me for a while. Candy, you think you're off alone on an island sometimes. A lot of us have been saying, yeah, double omegas, 2 endings. Omega means ending. That means there's 2 endings. We've gotten 1 ending. That means there's a second ending. And if there's a second ending, there's probably a second chest.
Exactly. But this is the thing. All we need to understand Wyoming and Montana is this book. Not only is it his manifesto, it is also all the information you will ever need to understand how to do it. You don't even have to go outside of it, like he's continuously said over the years. You just have to figure out what information applies to what you need. It's like kind of mind-blowing right now.
Is it?
And also has two trees. Did you know that? It has 2 trees. There's the mention of him, a tree on the Madison, and then there's a tree with him underneath for the Totem Cafe caper. 2 trees. Interesting. 2 favorite fishing holes. Interesting. And then
Well,
the most
and
important
Candy, ask yourself in these series of duplicates and doubles, what if the second location has already been found? Again, I say to you, 9 Mile Hole, 9 Mile Bay, double omegas, 2 treasures. Yes, I agree with you. What if others have been looking into a second chest and a second treasure? Agreed with you.
So, but this is the thing also. He talks about those great places on the fire hole. And then he goes to Southwest Montana. How can you do both, right? He says right here, I pulled a long forgotten book from a shelf. It's called Flywater, and it's about the great fishing spots in the western part of this country. Several of the wonderful color plates are places where I fished as a kid under the tutelage of my father, or where I guided others for pay when I was just a young teen. We know 9 Mile Hole is where I guided others for pay when I was just a young teen. So where is the part where I fished as a kid under the tutelage of my father? That's Montana. And that's why it originally said Southwest Montana, not Western part of...
Or it's not Montana, Candy. And again, 9 Mile Bay.
Said it.
When everyone asks why Forrest did the treasure hunt, he always says, my daughters don't know who Clark Gable is. Clark Gable is seen in a photograph at 9 Mile Bay catching world record trout. It's another fishing spot with Clark Gable. And every time you ask Forrest why he did this treasure hunt, he tells you, well, my daughters don't even know who Clark Gable is. I'm telling you, 9 Mile Hole, 9 Mile Bay, Clark Gable, his last movie ever filmed with Marilyn Monroe, her last movie ever filmed, 9 Mile Bay, where he catches Clark Gable a world record trout. It next to Big Mouth Canyon. The kind of guy who finds my treasures, the kind of guy who can't keep his mouth shut. Yes, Alan and I have been arguing that Forrest has been able to talk about 2 different treasure chests, 2 different chases, 2 different answers the entire time. Alan and I think we're that person who you're saying, what if they've already been researching this? The Rocky Mountain treasure has been found. So it's either the Appalachians or it's somewhere else. And Forrest always said the desert and the mountains. Well, lo and behold, 9 Mile Bay is in the desert.
Respectfully, fuck your 9 Mile Bay.
That's funny.
I'm gonna say I think round 2, Medium article. And I feel like we
like
were
another
already
one?
supposed to figure that out when it dropped. And because we didn't, that is why we're in such limbo land. So we're going to have to wait for Shiloh to probably come out and reiterate, hey, by the way, here's what you guys have clearly not noticed. Like, that's what I think is going to happen. I'm not kidding.
Well, unfortunately, only time is going to tell us. Because shit's taking a long time. Ain't it?
Well, like, think about it. The Medium article itself is like a puzzle itself. Like, let's go here again. A remembrance of Forrest Fenn. Not only did Forrest leave us with the song, Your Memories Will Remember. The last time you read that story about Jenny Kyle asking him, like, well, what's your favorite things? And he does the stick from the Madison River. He talks about a remembrance at the very end. He says remembrance. And this person, allegedly Jack Stoof, whoever the fuck, a remembrance of Forrest Fenn.
I I'm with you. I think there's something weird on the Medium article as well. I don't think Pam is completely making shit up just to, entertain herself. And I don't think Forrest is accidentally also sending, the most important aspect of his twist in his chase, which is he's writing an article that's going to get posted by the Finder eventually. He's not accidentally sending that to someone. He wanted someone to find that out so that this could keep going. We're talking about Forrest Fenn. He is immortal as long as we keep talking about him. And I'm not saying he's conned us into talking about him, and we shouldn't. I'm just saying his plan is working, isn't it?
Well, so knowing the exact spot on the globe where a person would like to die is a weird intimacy to share with the stranger. But the experience of figuring it out and providing it beyond a reasonable doubt provided confidence that was intoxicating to me, and perhaps helping me regain that belief in myself will be Forrest's greatest legacy to me. It sounds reiterated from the very beginning from important literature. No confidence in oneself, legacy, okay. For me, it was soon after I told him I found the treasure when he let me know completely unprompted that he thought I was a genius. Okay. Few human beings peak as octogenarians. I can speak. For most, old age is a slow dimming of the light, but Forrest fought against that. At 80, interesting he brings that up, he attracted a large audience for the first time in his writing career. And in the next decade, as he continually dealt with the passing of his peers, he made hundreds or perhaps thousands of new friends, treasure searchers he met at gatherings and sometimes in his comfortable museum of a home. For a decade, he wrote memoir at a breakneck pace. Wait, that doesn't sound right. For a decade.
It's a typo.
Yeah, but I mean,
and he's trying to say he wrote memoirs at a breakneck pace because Forrest referred to every single one of his books as memoirs. TTOTC was a memoir. Once Upon a While was a memoir. Too Far to Walk was a memoir.
Well, I think when they talk about, right here, even when he was down to telling us about the condiments in his refrigerator and the spices in his cabinets, I think that's something we need to revisit again from scrapbooks. Gigi, right. I need you.
Jack is specifically the finder, or the writer of this article is specifically bringing up a scrapbook. It should
two scrapbooks.
Two scrapbooks. It should prompt us to go look at those scrapbooks.
He didn't seem to mind that much of his audience wasn't really listening to what he was saying and were only looking for secret hints. For a man who expressed anxiety about getting Alzheimer's, he seemed to have found the perfect deterrent to cognitive decline. I swear, if it's Jack or who it is, I just want to bitch slap him for cognitive, because I'm saying cognitive mapping all the time now.
And the cognitive decline is almost a preemptive argument, because if we remember back to late 2020, the rumors that were slipping out was Forrest was declining mentally, and perhaps there were slip-ups because of that decline. There were rumors of Alzheimer's. There were rumors of Forrest getting taken advantage of because of the mental decline. We don't know if any of that's true or not. But the fact that Jack is even, or the finder or the Medium article writer is even addressing this, almost feels as if it's written by someone who is well aware of the rumor mill at the time in which the article was released.
I just can't get over the fact that he talks about a fake blaze, right? And he says, I called to tell him in desperation I had found a blaze, quote, quote. The mark that the poem says points to the treasure. Right. That seemed, after some effort by me, to have been faked by a cruel fellow searcher, even though it had evidently been there for years. I couldn't believe the chances. I told him exactly where I had been searching, but the call only lasted about 20 seconds. and he gave no impression he found my discovery at all interesting. Then he goes on to say that fake blaze was less than 1,000 feet from where I eventually found the treasure, and that's not even the half of the story. Half. Half again. When I met Forrest, he had forgotten about the phone call and found it amusing when I told him. Of course, he had no idea how much I had tortured myself trying to read his reaction to that call. Now, whoever this is, if it's Jack, if it's Matt, whoever this is, they are doing exactly what you and I do, Ben, analyzing every single detail and every single pattern. Okay.
Right.
And they keep reiterating remembrances. And there's a multitude of times where that comes up. That's very important. And so he talks, Forrest used his chase not for personal profit, but supported a local independent bookseller and raised tens of thousands of dollars for cancer victims. He was a benefactor and donated artifacts from his personal collection over the years to the Buffalo Bill Center of the West in Cody, Wyoming. So, and then it talks about George C. Frisson. And George C. Frisson, literally, they show and reiterates again, passed away the same exact day as Forrest. Same exact day. Interesting. Of course, Forrest's greatest gift to humanity was his treasure. Sure, it could only be given to one person, the one who found it, but it inspired hope the world over and the joy of discovery for all those who got to go out and appreciate the wonders of the Rockies. No good deed goes unpunished, of course, and that hope spun off into a myriad of presumptions Forrest couldn't have anticipated. Forrest's greatest gift to humanity. Don't you think that's an interesting way to word that? Humanity.
Yeah, it's like a final statement.
It's not just the finality of it all. You've got, this is the most profound thing he's ever done, right? Then his greatest gift to humanity, not to the community, not to the world, humanity.
Sure. And it speaks to the tone of Jack Stoof, or at least the writer of the Medium article. Forrest's greatest gift to humanity is something I am not sharing with you guys. His greatest gift to humanity was this chase, and me as the finder, I am not going to supply you with the answer. So Jack is doing an extra victory lap. This is why we feel as a community scorned by the finder, because the finder, whether the finder wrote this or not, the finder is rubbing our noses in it. The greatest gift to humanity, and I'm also not gonna fucking tell you the answer. That's pretty fucked up. That's pretty egotistical.
Well, not only that, but he talks about my family and I will be eternally grateful. It's incredibly generous to leave a chest full of gold out in the wilderness for someone to find. It's a whole other thing to set aside one's driving desire for a legacy in order to protect that stranger. Selflessness is the only way to describe it. So then he says, when I visited Forrest's house in June, he asked me, so, okay, this is interesting. Let's stop right there. I can't believe I've never noticed this. Benjamin, is it not factual that all the evidence that has been compiled up, and correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Christie allegedly say Jack went straight to Carl Summers' office? Wasn't it?
I don't know.
Didn't he go straight to his office? He never went to his actual house in June?
I don't know where he went straight to. I know that Carl got in the way of the original plan, which was Forrest telling Jack, come on over. And Carl steps in before Jack gets there and says, hell no, he is not coming here with that chest unless there has been documented proof that, he came to Santa Fe before he went to the house. And no, he can't come to your fucking house, Forrest. And so then they decide to 4 or 5 days later meet up at Tom Nasco's office. I don't know if Jack, again, we have a gap here. There's a 3 or 4 day gap where we don't know what Jack does. Is Jack really just sitting in a hotel for 4 days straight, waiting for Carl and Forrest to say, okay, now we can meet? That's
Well,
the
so
story
my point
we're
is
being
this,
told.
Ben. My point is this. We know Matt was at Fenn's house the day it was announced the chest had been found in June, even though he was in Yellowstone, which makes no sense because I have the emails from him. He's like literally on June 1st, I believe it was. He's like, where are you? I'm in the park. Okay. So if you're in the park and you just happen to be able to get to Fenn's house like the same time this all goes down, interesting. There's a blow up at the house, according to Christy, and then it's verified by Barbarisi in the book. Jack never when he handed the chest to Forrest, according to Carl and Cynthia and all of them, he did it at the lawyer's office. There's pictures of him looking at all the stuff at the lawyer's office.
At Tom Nasco's office, yeah.
Exactly. So why in the fuck or when did Jack have time to go to Forrest's house in June? I don't think he ever did.
That's seemingly after they have the meeting at the lawyer's office. So they have the meeting at the lawyer's office, and then Jack goes to Forrest's house after that. And then they have that. It makes the most sense via the story we've been told. If Carl is getting in the way, and Carl doesn't know shit from Shinola, but he knows, legally speaking, I can't let Jack come with that chest to Forrest's house. Otherwise, people are going to say that chest never left Forrest's house in the first place. So they do all their bullshit. They get their meeting. And now Carl is like, okay, fine. All right. Everything's great now. We have provenance, blah, 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 blah. Do whatever the fuck you want. And then Forrest has Jack come over to Forrest's house. And Jack and Forrest have a conversation then. That's not on the record. There is no videotape and possibly no one else around. What is said at that meeting?
Hold on. I just realized something too. So you know how the treasure hunt lasted exactly 10 years?
Sure. Well, yeah.
Eric was a gifted painter. Eric was a gifted painter and writer, and Forrest was a grateful admirer who sold his work. Their friendship lasted only 10 years, but they were very influential years. You will see. You will see.
Right.
You will see.
And then go to his statement on his friendship with Forrest only lasted a few months, but they were 3 very influential months. You will see.
That's what I just read.
No, I know. I'm giving you the back end of it. So you get 10-year comment, and then you have the extra 3 months. It seems as if Jack and Forrest planned something. Exactly. And we are witnessing that plan.
Forrest was a gifted adventurer and writer, and the finder was a grateful admirer who sold his famous treasure. Sold his famous treasure. Didn't you just now sell the famous treasure, Jack?
Right.
Questionable. Very questionable.
He's speaking in this strange future tense.
Is he?
But again, the poem fucks with tenses. You have all 3 tenses in the poem. You have past, present, and future in the poem. Why do you think I have a Back to the Future solve? So even the finder's article on Medium is talking about time. I find that interesting.
So I think that's the most important thing too, and it goes back to that book I was talking about, the one that inspired the Thrill of the Find. Alas, I'm a millennial and have student loans to pay off, so it wouldn't be prudent to continue to own the Fenn treasure. And at the end of the day, for all our similarities, Forrest and I couldn't be less alike when it comes to collecting. Wasn't that book that I told you about specifically about the thrill of the chase and finding the perfect person to inherit your collection?
And somehow the finder of the chase doesn't like collectibles. Okay. And by the way, Jack, no offense, I've done a deep dive on you because you're a person now and we know who you are. There's no way in hell There's no way on God's green earth, in the holy blue blazes of hell, that Jack Stoof doesn't collect things. Bullshit. Bullshit on a stick. Jack Stoof collects bottle caps, or Jack Stoof collects baseball cards, or Jack Stoof collects scarves, or Jack Stoof collects hats. He collects something. Everything about Jack Stoof's personality is he collects something. He churns credit cards for points for vacations. He collects vacations.
This is Forrest right here.
It's such bullshit for Jack to say he doesn't collect. I don't buy that.
No, ignore it. It's a piece of the puzzle. I don't think it's actually Jack. It's a piece of the puzzle. The treasure is a unique piece of American cultural history. The gold glitters, but brighter still are the embedded hopes and dreams of all the many thousands who search for it. That's Forrest right there, and I don't give a fuck what else you say. Right. It should belong to a person or institution who will fully appreciate owning such an incredible thing. And here's the part. This is the most important part. But Forrest had a final wish for where he thought the treasure should end up. The first step for me will be to try to make that happen. As for the legacy of Forrest Chase, I suppose it is in many ways in my hands, as wrong as that feels. To be honest, I'm not sure what to do. Revelation.
Is the Netflix documentary going to propose the idea that their main star was Forrest Fenn's final wish for the chest?
No.
Because why did Jack not sell to me? Why did Jack not sell to John Collins Black?
Because we would be forced to solve the fucking impossible poem for Fenn's treasure, and I would absolutely throw myself out of a window.
But John Collins Black is in our Discord in March of 2022, and he states, I made an offer on the chest to Jack's lawyer. It was a serious offer and a serious negotiation. I have come to find out that the chest is at Heritage and will eventually be auctioned. He said this in March of 2022, and that's exactly what happened. I wonder, why didn't Jack sell to John Collins Black? The rumor from K-Pro is that Justin somehow got the chest for $900,000. I offered $1.8 million. I'm pretty sure John Collins Black offered more than $900,000. So why did Jack Stoof sell to Justin for the alleged amount of $900K? Maybe that number's wrong, but maybe that number's right. And if that number's right, we have a problem.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
What?
Ben, I think I figured something out.
Here we go. Let's go. What do you got?
Okay, you know how we've always talked about this random stanza in the Medium article has to be the stanza that Forrest was telling Dale about?
Sure.
Cold, refreshing waters babble of your life.
Yes, this is the extra stanza you're saying. I've thought about that.
No, this is the thing. Remember, Forrest wanted us to rob his grave.
Right.
This is guiding us to his real final resting spot.
Well, that's the nature of the game you face right now. You have one of two choices. You can accept that this chase is over and that Forrest and his ashes have been scattered over 9 Mile Hole. Or you can ask yourself,
I don't think that ended.
Why has Forrest's final resting place not been shared? Do they really not want a tourist attraction?
No, get this. I think the last part, it was not Fenn, but the first three altogether, I think that's Fenn. Cold, refreshing waters babble of your life. Whistling pines proffer your wisdoms to sup. In your place, the mountains rumble your name.
Have you looked up the word sup?
Yeah, I know what sup means.
What? What does it mean?
To drink. to consume the knowledge and the wisdom and the
Very
like
good.
it's to consume.
Very good. Very good. So
I'm like, I'm an etymology nerd. Come on.
I'm not challenging you because I don't think you know it. I'm challenging you so that you just say what it is so we can dissect it further. So say the sentence again, but instead of saying sup, say the definition. So give me the sentence without sup, but with the definition instead. Go.
Oh God. Whistling pines proffer your wisdoms to consume, drink, prosper. Come on.
Okay, but do you see how we can read this a different way now? Say it again.
Actually, hold on. Let me do one better.
Say it crisply though.
Check this out. I never noticed this because I'm someone who always ignores the scrapbooks, which obviously gives Gigi a heart attack, but it takes bitch nuggets. Oh, I gotta find it. Hold on. Scrapbook 177. Where are my downloads?
Bitch nuggets. I like that.
Where are my downloads? For the love of permanently. I have way too many downloads. I can't even find my downloads. Okay. There's that. Dude, what? I have so many apps. It's ridiculous. Hold on. I'm looking for, don't even know where it would be. Oh, files. Here we go. Found it. Okay, so now I need scrapbooks. Okay, scrapbook 177. So this is 155. Okay, not bad. I'm closer to it. Let's go over 177 because that's obviously, oh fuck. I gotta go up for the higher. I went down. That's obviously really important too. Let's see what it is. Oh, we're getting close. Oh shit. Okay, what is it? 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 Is it the double omegas? Is it the double omegas? 75, 75, 76.
Somebody heard me old. Bitch nuggets. Yeah.
Scrapbook 177, April of 2017. The Other Side of Eric.
Ooh.
I wrote a book about Eric Sloan that most people who read this blog haven't seen. It's called $17 a Square Inch. If you think I talk too much about Eric, please try to overlook this effort. Your effort will be worth the cold. It's just that I think about him a lot. He died 10 years into our relationship, but they were significant times for me, and I hope they were worthwhile for him. In a perfect world, everyone would have their very own Eric. Maybe it would be fun to show parts of Eric that no one knows about anymore. Eric could be dapper. I always say dapper. I'm like, you look dapper today. Or he could be pensive. Love that. Mandrake Fenn looking for woman Drake. What? Lunchtime drawing on a pink Adobe napkin. Eric could be serious with the bite. Barn for sale, $100. Weather vane, $3,000. Eric weaving? I think it's weaving. Sometimes he was playful. He didn't drink. Dear Forrest, the painting will be delivered by me on in or slightly before December 10th. Okay, I think December 10th might be. Is that the same picture? No, I can't see the same picture. Here he is with Jimmy Doolittle and Neil Armstrong. It could twist like a snake. Sometimes water was welcome. Showing his talent with a pen and ink. To Peggy and Forrest from Legacy, 1980. Why did it say Legacy?
Your mom's from 1980.
Don't you think that's weird? Legacy?
No, I don't find that weird at all.
Well, I find it weird because in the Medium article, they talk about his legacy.
Yeah. People have been talking about Forrest's legacy since the start of the chase. So what?
Well, this scrapbook that was mentioned in the Medium article literally shows a drawing that Eric Sloan did for Peggy and Fenn, and he titled himself Legacy, not Eric.
Unless you have a painting with a leg and
Lady
then
Peace.
eyeball and then the letter C, I don't care.
And he could be overboard generous. One year for Christmas, he gave me a copy of his book, I Remember America. It had 59 original drawings in it. This is one of them. No one knows for sure how many books Eric wrote, but I have 45, most of them with doodles or a personal note to me from him. Once I asked him about his total output of paintings, he didn't know, but he said if you place them side by side, they would stretch 5 miles. And then again, oh, what?
Oh my God. Oh my God.
What?
It's going to be Jens for the rest of this stream. Oh my God.
Hold on.
What do you have?
You're going to like this, Ben. You're going to like this.
Does it have DB Cooper?
No, check this out.
Then I'm not going to like it.
As what I thought would be a fitting ending to my book about Eric, I wrote this poem. I called it a quadruplet, right? It says, mighty oaks from little acorns slowly grow, then finally fall and wisp to naught. But those who plant a seed of words live on in groves of human thought. That's the poem that Forrest wrote for Eric.
Right. And that's
so
what...
please explain to me where exactly...
Isn't it obvious to you? Jack read that little quadplet and made his own. Based on that one. Oh God, where'd Candy go?
Her internet went out.
Did her internet go out again? Good grief, Charlie Brown. Am I the only one live on her channel now? Let me check. Have I taken... Oh, I've taken over her whole channel. Oh, I can just talk about DB Cooper now. Let's just talk about DB Cooper. All right, so there once was a man named DB. And he had a very giant pee-pee. He hijacked a plane. He didn't land in pain. And he ran to a woman named Cece.
Oh my God. That was brilliant. Let's take it. I'm sure she's really loving that.
There once was a man named Cooper.
Oh, no. I am saying no to that.
And he prepared for the hijacking in the pooper. He did his hair. He didn't walk out bare. And he decided to be a swooper. That doesn't even make sense. Those are just words that rhyme.
Yeah, give you an A for effort.
It's not even a coherent statement, is it?
Nice attempt.
It's a good try, isn't it?
Okay, I'm trying to pick out.
I'm live on Candy's stream right now.
You know what I'm doing? I'm picking out colors for a blanket. My grandma is going to crochet me, and I am thrilled. But let's text Candy.
Let's crochet a blanket.
I'm so.
I don't want to crochet
I
anything.
want her to crochet me. It'll be the last one she crochets me before she dies.
Macronamia solve. How about that?
Oh, I will love it. Okay, where are you, Candy?
I should read some poetry. That's a good point. I'll read some poetry here. I'll type in. Let's type in DB Cooper poetry. Let's see what pops up here. That's not poetry. That's a news article. That doesn't help me. The Legend of DB Cooper, a poem by Nicholas. Oh, that's brilliant. Who's Nicholas? This is a very elaborate, crafted poem. When ordinary men depart here and now, they're buried in dirt and rise to the clouds. But the great ones are different. They do things profound, like the man who departed from the heavens to the ground. Only once in a lifetime comes a story this grand, where a legend is made out of an ordinary man. One whose lasting impression has still yet to land, and time cannot falter. To this day, it withstands. Where the sky meets the earth, there's a space in between, where a legend was born and a man was last seen. In a moment of greatness from a machine, and solidified in our memory himself as a human being. He was an ordinary name, ordinary in sight, but absolutely abnormal on that 305 flight. On a night filled with thunder, mixed with pulsing of light, he transformed into folklore in an instant outright. Some say what he did was a horrible call, that his act was moronic to take such a fall. I say he did the amazing, a hero standing tall, a modern day Prometheus stealing fire for us all. As he soared into greatness out of the sky, he became something greater than just your average guy. He became legendary, unable to die. His story lives on inside you and I. D.B. Cooper is alive. We remember his name. Ask anyone who believes, and they will tell you the same. For when someone does something not for glory or fame, they become what is legend. A soul left untamed. And Ashley fucking coughed right at the end of that to fuck it up. Jesus Christ, Ashley. Go fuck yourself. Motherfucking cough at the end of that perfect poem. Jesus. Oh, now she's on the phone. I think she's calling the police. This is not so bad a poem. Not great, but not... I thought that was a very good poem. What did you think of that poem? Babe, what did you think of that poem? You thought it was fine? I thought that was glorious. I don't want to, there's nothing left to rotate, guys. This is just like, what is this?
Maybe on her phone, did her phone just die?
There you go. I rotated the log. Candy, where are you? Bruh. All right, so I'm going to use Candy's channel now to talk to Shiloh. Let's talk to Shiloh. Shiloh, hi. My name is Ben. I am technically I'm single on a tax return. 38. I'm talking to you. Ashley's giving me a weird look right now.
Am I allowed to speak? Because I know I'm not allowed to.
Wood is good. That's the slogan, boo.
Ooh.
As soon as you enter Santa Fe state lines,
Yeah.
yeah, that's right. Santa Fe state lines. Think about it. If you get pulled over by a cop and you don't say wood is good, you get a ticket. It's a fact.
Are you sure?
Yeah, that's real life. My dad went to New Mexico twice, got 2 tickets.
Because he didn't say that.
He didn't say wood is good.
How come he didn't learn after the first time?
That's what I asked him. That's actually a good question. So the real story is we drove in from Colorado. He speeds into Santa Fe. We get a ticket, right? He's going like 90. We're driving back to Colorado after like 3 or 4 days in Santa Fe. Motherfucker gets the same fucking ticket on the same part of the fucking highway. Might as well have been the same cop.
I can't imagine that your dad, like the fury within your dad's face.
Oh, it says, let me in. Hold on.
Oh, yeah.
The fury with him. No, my dad felt embarrassed. He was just like, oh my God, I can't believe I got
That's what
fucking
I'm
caught
saying. Like,
twice.
as mad as he would be at himself.
All right, there's Candy. My God.
Charge your phone, woman.
Candy, you're in, but like it says your camera's off, and I don't know, you're doing shit.
What?
Oh, there you are. There
My
she
phone
is.
died.
Man, your shit died, bro.
It did. I was trying to get to the point where if that's the poem Forrest wrote in
Wow.
No segue. Just fucking no segue. Just fucking woo.
What?
It's like not even a breath. Not even a breath. Not even a chance to catch our breath. It's just right into it.
Like we paused a video game and it restarted.
All right. So, all right. What were you trying to say?
Oh, I was saying if that's the poem Forrest wrote in $17 a square inch, where the hell did the one from the Medium article come from?
Jack's own brain. He was just
No, it's not Jack.
He's whoever wrote that article is just mimicking the quadplet. If there's a secret stanza in the chest via the olive jar,
It's
then
that.
It's remained a secret. We still don't know what it is. There's no fucking
Ben. Take both of those, put them together. You got your new hunt.
I mean, maybe there's a new hunt. I'm down for the new hunt.
No, I'm saying the one I just read from Scrapbook 177, which takes you to Scrapbook 177. The first part Forrest wrote, apply it to this part that's in the Medium article, and you have a full poem.
Aren't you exhausted?
No, because I did a whole video on this last year.
No, this is exhausting, playa.
It's
Talk
less
to Ash.
exhausting than your DB Cooper shit.
No, you talk.
Hi.
For a minute. I need somebody.
Okay. Ben's jaws need a break, I guess.
He's being high maintenance.
Hey, look, I'm under a canopy of stars.
He's under a canopy of stars right now. He's made
What's that?
There's not quite a large canopy of stars underneath him because he's broken most of them. But yes, he's under. Well, the ones on the ground, my solar lights is what I'm referring to. Candy, he's just trying to say,
What am I trying to say?
Aren't you exhausted?
No, I'm not.
What am I trying to say?
Nobody really knows what you're trying to say, Mr. Apple. You both are just trying to get the other one to see it from your perspective. You each have this idea and this thought. You really believe in your convictions, and you're just trying to. I just envision you like brother and sister. Where are you a foe? What, the plane?
No, that's not a. Oh, it is a plane.
My
Are you
goodness,
sure that's a plane?
that is.
It sure disappears when it blinks like that.
It does not disappear.
It disappears completely.
All right, here you go. Are you done now?
What, me?
That looks like a UFO to me. That's not a normal plane. That's not a normal flight path. It's bullshit. Anyway, what's up?
You can ask the alien which flight path he's taking. And is he related to DB Cooper?
No, it's probably Shiloh flying over my house. Oh my God, I spilled another beer.
What did I tell you?
V sketch.
Yeah. All right, are we done here?
Hey, you're the one that joined my stream.
And then you left it.
Can we just say something completely incorrect and see if Shiloh comes in and corrects us like he did 2 years?
No, I don't want to be in trouble. And plus, he's in the middle of the jungle. What time is it in the middle of the jungle? Where
How do you know
is
he's in the middle of the jungle?
he? Said he was.
What does that mean? Middle of the jungle.
I literally told him yesterday after the V sketch for deleting or unsending my messages. I was like, I honestly was hoping you were in the middle of the jungle with no reception, so you never would have seen that I unsent the message. And then he said, actually, I am. And I was like, are you hot on the trail for some lost Mayan temples? And he's like, work.
Well, jungle is relative. Go look up jungle. It's not like this dude flew to the fucking South Pacific overnight. I mean, I guess he did. Maybe. I don't. Who
Well,
cares?
I mean, he was talking about reception last week, so I don't know.
No, maybe Shiloh, you could spend less time jungling and more time telling us what the fuck happened.
He was active an hour ago, so I think it's too late to message him.
Oh, was he active an hour ago while he was in the middle of the jungle?
Apparently, he's got a really great data plan, he said.
Yeah, all of a sudden he has reception while he's in the middle of the fucking bloody jungle.
Bloody jungle.
Shiloh. And never mind. I was going to your mom him, and nope, that's disrespectful. I'm not going to your mom Shiloh. That's the one person I won't your mom. Because Shiloh, your mom is probably watching, isn't she? I still managed to do the your mom joke.
What the? Oh God. I wonder why I can't keep nice things.
Unstoppable. I am unstoppable. No one can get in my way except for myself.
I have no words.
It was a perfect your mom joke. It was utter perfection. It should be replayed on the annals of the Time Hall of Fame. This moment.
I feel bad. We basically just made Street not be able to say a single thing, word in edgewise tonight. We're just nope, not today, Street. Nope, not about the stars. Not today.
I didn't stop Street. I tried to get Street to talk. Do you watch Last of Us yet? Have you watched that show?
Yeah, but I'm 3 episodes behind. Don't tell me. I was traumatized because I saw what happens first one of them.
Are you liking the show overall, though?
Hell yeah, it's amazing.
That's dope.
Did you watch the new Mandalorian season?
No, I didn't even. I didn't even watch the last episode of the previous season yet because I started dating Ashley. I think when did Mandalorian come out?
I don't remember.
I feel like it was right when I started talking to Ashley. I don't know.
They're on season 3 right now.
They're on season 3?
Yeah. Season 3. Season 3.
Listen, I'm OG Star Wars. If there's Anakin, I'm in. If there's no Anakin, I'm out.
This is before Anakin.
Okay, I'm out. All I care about is Anakin. All I care about in the Star Wars universe is Anakin Skywalker. That's it. No one else. I don't even give a fuck about Han Solo. If Han Solo died in a fiery pit of hell death, I wouldn't care as long as Anakin Skywalker was the cause of it.
You don't say. Well, they had
you underestimate my power.
They had the
Good line.
They had, what was it? Oh my God. Fuck, what's his name? I can't remember right now.
Davio.
I can't think.
Davio, don't say such things of such a surety which you don't know. No way. Yes way. I mean, maybe not today, but certainly has watched. I wonder what happens when I put this and that. See what happens.
Part 2 of You dropped last night.
Yeah, that's another show. Ashley got me into. It was like, oh, okay, it's cute.
Don't you dare! Dexter. I will fucking drive out to Arizona and I will just
Dexter?
Huh?
Have you seen Dexter?
Yes.
All 9 seasons of it?
No, I stopped after the Julie Stiles. It was the final season before the final season.
All right, fair enough. That's enough. All right, you don't see the similarities. It's Dexter.
I know that, but this is the thing. You is literally based off of my all-time favorite book ever written.
Oh, it's based on a book.
It's called Hidden Bodies, and it is the best book. It's my all-time favorite book. It is so fucking good. It doesn't even compare. It doesn't even pale in comparison Like the series doesn't even pale in comparison to this book. But I love the fact that they have freaking Dan Humphrey from Gossip Girl, the Gossip Girl, playing Joe. Like, oh god, it's so good. And then they're doing their own fun thing right now with season 3. So it's like a treasure hunt. I'm not even kidding. It's like a treasure hunt whodunit. It's so funny. It's like a vigilante killer, but then you're trying to figure out who's trying to frame him. It's fucking hilarious. And then the best part is, a lot of us are under the impression that he's actually so traumatized by something that he did, and he refuses to admit that he's a killer, that he's fabricated a villain out to get him, when in actuality it's like a Fight Club mentality, and he's that person, and he's the one committing the murders.
That's good. I like that. I would.
So I'm telling you gotta watch it.
Something like that. That'd be all right. That'd be okay.
You gotta watch it. It's so good. It is so good. And he is kind of like a vigilante. Like season 2, he's more so a vigilante. Because like the people he's targeting are like piece of shit human beings.
Well, please don't.
Yeah, Ashley's saying don't spoil.
Please don't spoil.
I'm not spoiling it.
Yeah.
You are a spoiler, my friend.
Spoil.
You're a spoiler.
You spoil.
No, I am not.
Come on, you spoil. Let's face facts here. You spoil.
I do not spoil.
Okay.
How can I spoil something I don't even know the ending to? I haven't even watched the final half of it.
You can still fucking spoil shit.
I was saying assumptions. It's not been proven.
Acts to a story. You can still spoil. All right. Anyway, I'm going to bed. It's 10:37 over here, bro.
Good, because I'm gonna go watch part 2 of You.
I'm gonna go watch more of that Flight 370 documentary on Netflix, and watch how even on Flight 370, where 239 souls disappeared, somehow, some way, that Netflix documentary is making it out to be about the personalities trying to solve the fucking mystery. If you get I got to the end of episode 2, and by the end of episode 2, the show is pitting the experts against each other in some drama fashion online with their message boards. If you want to see how a serious topic can get turned into drama very quickly, just turn on Netflix and watch the Flight MH370 documentary.
I don't know what you're trying to communicate to me right now.
You're going to see how the Forrest Fenn documentary is going to look at it. It's just a sign of what's to come. That's all. And it's unfortunate. Anywho, I'm going to go and watch it. So,
Okay. Well, it's been fun hanging out with you crazy people and the chat, but I'm going to go and watch You now because I want to know the ending.
Very good. And Ashley's going to make me watch this shit too. So at some point we can talk about it.
You got fucking 3 seasons to catch up on.
2 seasons.
We're talking about You?
Yeah.
You watched it all.
All of it? No, there's a new season.
Yeah, you haven't watched the new season.
So yeah, I'm pretty caught up. Yeah. I only have 1 season of You to watch. See? Boom. See? You don't even know. You don't even know, Candy. You don't even know.
Okay, drunkards. I'm gonna go watch it then.
All right.